What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Top Rope Renegades. I'm Kurt. That's RK. Tried something new with the fading in and out. I don't know. We'll see how it sounds when we get to post recording, post editing.
I mean,
How you doing,
I
RK?
noticed it right away, so that actually sounded pretty cool. Going good, man. It's Thursday. It's almost Friday for you. You just got done at Daniel Tosh comedy
Yeah,
show.
fantastic.
Lucky fucker.
If
Yeah, that
you get
fucking dude's
offended
hilarious.
if you get offended easily, don't like. He attacks everybody and everything, and it's hilarious if you have a good sense.
I think after our first couple episodes, we got rid of everybody that's easily offended. So, um,
Maybe.
I mean, we can try tonight if you want. Should we just go? No, it's episode 10. We're not getting canceled yet.
Wait, hold on. I said it. All I said was let me tell you about.
People can read lips, so
Yeah, well, if they read my lips, they're gonna hear me say, "Let me tell you about." That's it. That's it.
okay, cool.
Are you comfortable?
I'm comfy as fuck. Don't worry. Once we get into it, I'll sit up. It's been a long day, man. Fuck. It was like
yeah,
it was hot as balls here, and I was outside all day. So
yeah, it's getting hot here too. And this the professional wrestling world is getting hot and heavy. Things are picking up. Getting ready for big pay-per-views, and I think overall, I think we can both agree this is a pretty good week of wrestling until Wednesday. But
man, AEW keeps dropping the ball, but we'll get to that. You got to think about it. This WWE after Clash of the Castle this weekend, shit's about to pick up. We're getting into SummerSlam fucking run-ins now, so shit's really going to start to pick up here shortly for WWE. Obviously the WrestleMania hangover is now over. Clash of the Castle's hitting this weekend. We got some big matches happening on that, and then it's time to get ready for SummerSlam. So, and also Money in the Bank, all the qualifying matches for Money in the Bank. Fuck, it's about to pick up in WWE.
Yeah, it's wide open. About to pick up here on the show too. I know you got something you want to get to, and I'll let you do that. But first, we were talking, and what's our favorite thing on AEW right now?
Oh, it's got to be MJF.
Really?
No, I mean, yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome that it's back. But no, the best thing on AEW, and it's the best thing they have going for them right now, is the learning tree with Chris Jericho. It's so fucking good.
So here's a tip, guys. If you're watching the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It comes to my attention that a lot of our viewers, may it not be many, but a majority of our viewers don't subscribe. If you subscribe, it lets YouTube know that people enjoy our content. And if you're feeling extra spicy, guys, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, it means you get notifications for when a video of ours is uploaded. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and if you
how's that?
Yeah, that was that was pretty spot on, man. Fuck. I mean, really, honestly, it's like he's just going to generic fucking telling mansplaining to people shit. So yeah, it's fucking good. What would Brian Keith say? If you don't respect Chris Jericho,
I didn't know
it's fucking good.
Like much about like Brian Keith until those segments, and his role is perfect where he's just the aggressive defender of Chris Jericho, and I love it. So there's that.
It's some of the best shit AEW's got going on right now. And it took a while for a lot of people to get around, but I mean, I think everybody's loving it now. Except for Private Party, they were not fans of his learning tree.
They listened to him.
They did. They learned how to climb the ropes properly. Like, man, we'll get to. It's so fucking. I could just watch like a weekly show of the learning tree. Just have like a 30-minute fucking show every week of him just doing what he does. I got some news. We are going to introduce a new segment next week. So stay tuned to the end of this show, and I'll explain what we got in store for you guys. So
a little
teaser for the end of the show here. So make sure you tune in to the end of the show.
Tony Khan esque, maybe.
Oh no, if we were doing Tony Khan, I just announce it right now. Like after announce it, I'm going to announce it. gonna announce I'm gonna announce it and then announce it. No, we ain't doing that
You're
shit,
gonna
man.
announce it when I go to the next slide. If you were Tony Khan,
Yeah, like
yeah,
instantly. Like
we're
this
not gonna do
just
that though.
in. Yeah, no.
Oh, and breaking news. Anyway, let's get into the new. Oh, and I did want to announce we'll be doing a separate video for our Clash at the Castle predictions. That'll be coming out hopefully Friday night Friday night.
Yeah, after SmackDown, who knows? They could throw us a little curveball from Friday. I mean, we got the I Quit match or last man standing match. If you listen to Michael
it's
Cole,
confusing.
He was off on Monday, man.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like the whole. It was weird.
Probably a little too hard.
Yeah. So
Do it. Let's do it.
news, rumor, and innuendo. I got us a new little page here, a little breaking news page. Mainly you can just see Braun Breaker killing Ricochet. So I mean,
Here, you know what?
yeah.
You know what? I'll do. Breaking news: Ricochet has told WWE he will not be resigning. Gets written off TV. More on that when we get to Monday Night Raw. Rhea Ripley chose to rehab her shoulder injury instead of getting surgery. As of right now, no SummerSlam plans as of yet. And finally, Sexy Red was arrested Saturday due to an altercation in an airport. Still the host of NXT Battleground on Sunday. No heat with the WWE. RK, what do you have?
Well, I mean, that was pretty much it. So on to the next one. No. Anyways, former longtime employee of the WWE, Tom Carlucci, has claimed that Vince McMahon is not allowed anywhere near or in the WWE headquarters, including his own personal gym that he had designed with his trainer Mike.
Mhm.
So it's pretty much TKO has come down and said, no, he's gone. And I mean, you can't blame them. It's just bad publicity to have him anywhere near the product. And I think we spoke on this like last week or a couple weeks ago. I mean, or we might have just been talking about it in passing while we're watching the shows. But I mean, you posed the question is like, if everything goes away and this is all shown as just, an allegation that never came true, does Vince McMahon get back to the WWE? And no, I mean, I don't think so.
No.
It's just it's tainted now. There's too much. That guy's got way too much shit against him over in the last 10 years and probably further back that even if nothing's proven, I can't see him ever stepping foot in WWE ever again. So, yeah, that's that.
No.
Wrestle votes. They said that Braun Breaker has impressed many higher ups in his short stint on Raw already. WWE has considerably altered its creative plans, including him. He is slated to be a major focus heading into the Netflix era. So Braun Breaker's the next one. He's the
Mhm.
next guy. He's the next John Cena. He's the next Shawn Michaels. He's the next Undertaker. He's gonna be the face of the WWE for as long as he wants to be if he can continue this run.
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of the old Steiners, Rick and Scott. He's like them times 10. He's got all their charisma, he's got all their ability, and he's just better. He's
Mhm.
so fucking good. So this is kind of just people throwing around shit and whatnot, and it's who do you want to believe? Meltzer is talking on this shit as he always does, and it's this June 1st episode of Collision. It was reported on some media sites that they only drew 122,000 viewers. Meltzer comes out and says, this is a completely fake number supplied by the WWE because they are in a pro wrestling war with AEW. And then he goes on to say WWE is far more effective at getting news out there and controlling the media. Probably a little bit. I mean, goes back to the tactics of what WWE. But like I said this to you, and I might have said it on the pod before. If the WWE actually cared to do it, they could bury AEW. They have the money, they have the
Yes.
power. They could, if they actively made it a choice to do it, they would. I don't think they are. I think they're, just causing a little shit. That's where I look at this. I mean, yeah, hate on me if I'm saying that WWE could bury AEW. Think about it. I mean, they did it to WCW, they did it to the NWA, they did it to all the territories. They've done it their whole time they've been in
Mhm.
business. If they care to bury a company, they will. So,
I don't think AEW will go anywhere as long as Tony Khan has the money, though.
well, he will have the money. I mean, his billionaires, but I mean, if WWE actively made it a plan to do shit to them, they could and they would.
Right.
But I don't think they really care that much. Yeah, they drop a number like that to maybe, cause a little stir in the media, but that's a pro wrestling war, right? And that's what
Mhm.
AEW claims to want is a war with WWE. So bring it on. Dijak. Speaking of Dijak, Fightful Select has said Dijak's contract is set to expire by the end of this month, and there are no plans currently for him.
Yeah, it's interesting. He was doing so
Yeah,
well in
he
NXT.
was. He was killing it in NXT. They drafted him up to Raw and then gone.
Nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see Dijak go, but
No, it's fun. But I mean, honestly, a guy like that, he finds a job somewhere else like that.
AEW would take someone like Dijak, put him on
Well,
TV for a couple
AEW would
weeks, and
take
then
almost
bury him.
anybody, and then put them on AEW Dark. I mean, Rampage. I mean, I don't know. One of the 3 shows that
Mm-hmm.
honestly just sounds like it honestly just sounds like I'm burying AEW at this point. I'm not.
Oh
I'm
wait, they
just
can put him on the Ring of Honor tapings too.
that those are dark matches.
Basically.
Anyways, continue on. Hoping I don't continue to look like I just hate AEW, but it's not going good so far. You've already touched on it. Rhea Ripley has chosen to rehab her shoulder injury instead of having surgery.
Mm-hmm.
There's no plans for her immediately at SummerSlam, but they said the source said that if need be to further along a storyline, we could see her sometime this summer just to push along the storyline. As we all know, Liv and Dom and Finn, and we'll get to that at Raw. Shit went down this week.
It's hot and heavy.
Meltzer, Dave Meltzer, 5-star Meltzer, the tuna Meltzer, like tuna melt.
Yeah, I
Tuna
get it.
melt.
All right. And because he smells like fish, probably.
Oh shit! If shots fired. AEW is interested in Chad Gable, quite interested in him, but they can't make an offer until he's a free agent. Which the rumors are WWE has made an excellent offer to Gable already, and it's either he's already re-signed or he's going to re-sign very shortly. So fuck off AEW, you ain't getting Gable, especially heel Gable, prime,
On fire
like
right now.
so good. Ricochet, the big news of the week, really, that's been all over everything. He has told WWE that he will not be renewing. He will be leaving the company when his contract expires, which is to believe sometime in July.
End of
That's where,
July is what I read.
yeah, I mean, conflicting reports. I read sometime in July.
Yeah.
Some people have said end of June. Like sometime this summer, his contract's up, and he's apparently told the WWE that he will not be coming back. That's his choice. WWE hasn't exactly used him amazingly well.
No.
But I mean, that being said, I also read a list of the accomplishments in the WWE that he has had: intercontinental champion, U.S. champion, uh, Dusty Rhodes Memorial champion, I believe.
Him and Aleister Black, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
World
North American champion. He was in that 6-man ladder match that you absolutely love. His very first match in the WWE. So I mean, it's not like he has it.
Listen, I'm just gonna put it like this: not everyone who wrestles will get signed. Not everyone who gets signed will be a world champion. And not every world champion is a legit superstar, going to be a superstar for the rest of their life. That's just how wrestling works.
Jinder Mahal.
Oh.
Punjabi prison. Singapore cane match. Okay, cool. Anyways, Ricochet, wherever he goes, there's a lot of interest in AEW. Obviously, he's got a lot of friends. There's also a lot of interest for him to go back to New Japan. So
Right.
he's gonna end up somewhere. And honestly, if he ends up in AEW, anybody thinking that he's gonna become the AEW champion, fuck off. He's gonna maybe win the Intercontinental or what?
Continental.
International.
Continental.
TBS, Continental
TBS,
Cup, whatever.
TNT,
He ain't winning the World Championship. It's going to be not much different WWE. He's going to have some banner matches with Ospreay. We'll get Ospreay versus Ricochet 7 at some point, but
yeah. He may even get a world title match. He's just not probably gonna win.
No, I mean,
Unless he literally gets hot. It's kind of what happened with Swerve. You wouldn't have thought when
100%.
Swerve went to AEW he would be world champion. But the fans got behind him. Everybody started buying into the character change, and he was the hottest thing that AEW had post MJF, going away. And then Swerve's the world champion. Now it
Yeah.
looks like he's
So
probably going to lose it at Forbidden Door already, and that's fine. But he got to run.
yeah, 100%. So
And I wanted to add before we move on from Ricochet, Fightful put out this little thing, and it made me go, no shit. They updated on the Ricochet, obviously, as you already spoke on, but they updated with Samantha Irvin as well.
she's under contract. Where the fuck do you think she's going?
In the article, Fightful said, for those asking about Samantha Irvin, she's in Scotland for this weekend show and is continuing with WWE. We don't know how long is left on her deal. Ricochet didn't make the trip to Scotland, obviously. Just because she works
Yeah,
at
he got put
WWE,
through a fucking. CM Punk apparently got very upset at some people about that
don't
shot. But
spread
anyways.
shit like that. Don't do that. We're not.
It's rude. It's innuendo. I love CM Punk. He
The
did not happen.
the whole thing about, oh, will Samantha Irvin want to leave now, or will Ricochet stay because of her? Here's the thing: she's gonna stay in WWE. If he goes to AEW, guess what his schedule is like in AEW? He shows up for tapings
Fridays?
on Wednesday.
No, it's recorded on Wednesday. Just Wednesday.
Wednesdays. He'll be on Wednesdays for the first 2 months of his run in AEW, and then he'll be demoted to
Saturdays.
Collision. So he's gonna have plenty of time to be with his lady. So that doesn't change a thing. Rhea Ripley, Buddy Matthews, they do it. Matt Cardona was running the Indies. Chelsea Green's on WWE. Couples can. It's fine.
Charlotte Flair, Andrade did it for a while.
Yeah, Andrade's back now, and what I really would love is if all this is a swerve, and Ricochet shows up.
Well, here's the thing. So, with how popular this whole story has become, a lot are believing that Ricochet ain't done yet. There's belief that he will appear again before his contract apparently comes up. And if you ask me, I mean, this all started with a guy on a podcast saying that if AEW offered him the right amount of money, he's probably going to go. If they're not offering him a ton more money at his point in his career, do you take the money or do you take the chance to have another good match to Will Ospreay? So, see, I mean, Tony Khan likes throwing out money, so it's obviously going to be more than what WWE is.
Right.
And apparently, TKO is the main reason behind these contracts coming right to the very end at the moment. And however you want to look at that, I don't know the finances of WWE and TKO, but I mean, contracts are going to get negotiated, and sometimes they're going to go right down to the wire. It happens in everything. It's money. It's money. These people are TKO, WWE. They're in it to make money. They're not just going to throw a female wrestler that's been injured multiple times in the past 3 years, $12 million for 3 years just to come on their show and talk for 4 months and then bury a younger talent. But nonetheless, it's a business, so it is what it is. What? Gigi Dolan.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm just burying AEW, but
sorry.
Proceeds to bury AEW.
I mean, am I wrong though? Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Carry on.
Gigi Dolan. She had that little angle with Ariana Grace there for a little while, and then she's just kind of disappeared from TV. She has a serious knee injury. They were doing those skits just to keep her around, but she has not been seen at the Performance Center for the last few weeks. So she is apparently has a serious knee injury. So maybe she went away, got surgery. I'm now just making shit up, but that's from Fightful. They reported that Gigi Dolan serious knee injury. WrestleVotes. They reported on a story saying a handful of WWE talent were unhappy with the floor spacing at the UFC Apex.
Yeah, it was really tight. You could tell.
It was tight around the ring.
Even the commentators were talking about it, how close things were to them.
Yeah.
You could see it too.
We already touched on it. Sexy Red was arrested on Saturday in New Jersey airport with disorderly conduct stemming from an altercation was, they didn't mention who, probably somebody else, I would assume. People in the WWE weren't originally aware of the incident before she hosted Battleground. There are plans for more NXT appearances in the future by Red, and the arrest is not expected to impact those plans at all. Booker T said at River City Wrestling Con that his WWE contract is coming up soon. Booker T ain't going nowhere.
I don't see him going anywhere, to be
Shucky
honest with
ducky
you.
quack quack. Like, no.
He makes
Him
NXT
and
so
Vic, him
enjoyable.
and Vic. If we don't get him and Vic at NXT for the next 5 years, I'm not. I don't know if I could watch NXT.
I
That's not
miss
true.
Mauro
But
Ranallo, but yeah, that's just me.
Vic's doing a good
Vic's
job.
good. Vic's good.
Him and Booker have good little battles,
Yep.
so it's fun. Oh, Clash of the Castle. So it was, I forgot to put the source down on this. I think it was WrestleVotes again. They tweeted out on X that WWE was dropping their press conference at Clash of the Castle and doing a post show instead. WWE has come out to say that no, that's not true. We're doing a press conference plus adding a post show. So there will be a post show after Clash of the Castle and then the press conference. So I think shit's gonna go down, and they need to talk about it. So I'm expecting some shit to happen this weekend. Maybe a little Jacob Fatu, maybe a little Talatonga shows up. I mean, that was apparently. Did you not hear about that?
Who?
WWE has filed for a trademark with the name Talatonga.
Oh yeah, I didn't think anything of that. I don't know who.
So Hikaleo.
Yeah, I know because I was gonna read that Hikuleo. Obviously, WWE has interest in Hikuleo. Hikuleo and El Phantasmo dropped their tag team titles at the New Japan Dominion show, basically showing that Hikuleo was done in New Japan. Makes sense for him to show up, but I don't know if I'd like them naming him that.
Another Tonga. Yeah. Oh shit.
So we'll see.
Haku Jr. Anyways. Io Sky is going to be appearing at Marigold's next
Yes.
the show this weekend. Is it soon? It's coming up, I think. I don't
Yes.
know the exact date. But yeah, she's going to be on Marigold. So there is definitely some WWE's collaborating with a lot of wrestling companies out of the blue all of a sudden. Marigold, TNA. I had a whole list of all the shows that they've collaborated with in the past year.
GCW.
GCW, Bloodsport, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Noah, that's another
Yeah,
news.
that's a big thing that's coming. Noah
So
and New
Noah
Japan have a joint pay-per-view taking place, I think, Friday, June 15th. So
yeah, so
interesting.
the Noah has a show on Sunday, called, where is it here? Yokohama Buntai event on this upcoming Sunday, and they said that WWE and themselves are going to have a big announcement and also a message from a wrestling superstar. So WWE is kind of working with a lot of companies right now. AJPW, I think, All Japan Pro Wrestling, they've done stuff with
Yes.
in the past year as well. So WWE is branching out, and I think at a certain point, the talent in AEW has already said that they kind of hope to have some collaboration with the WWE, and it's possible. Swerve Strickland said the percentage has gone up. Even Tony Khan has said, "Yeah, I'd love to work with all." I don't know if Tony Khan actually would go through working with WWE on anything, but
Right.
as fans, that'd be the most coolest thing ever. I mean,
That'd
the
be
talent
that.
between the two
Like,
companies would
let's
be
just be
ridiculous.
honest. AEW, WWE, that is the real Forbidden Door right there, without a doubt.
100%.
That is it. The matches are endless. So, yeah, I'd be down with that.
One last little piece of news. Dax Harwood said on Twitter he's been injured and been keeping it to himself for a few months, not telling Tony Khan, not telling medical staff, not telling anybody. But most recently, the pain and injury has become too much for him. At the time, he did not want to take anything away from the momentum that FTR had, and he did not want to take away the TV time from Cash Wheeler was getting.
Mhm.
So he held the injury to himself for a few months now. He says, but he's had to come out. He says he apologized to everybody and he hopes to see everybody soon again. So that's why we have not seen Dax or Cash since the infamous fight that went down.
Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah, that's all I got this week. Really, I don't think I went over everything. Oh wait, actually, sorry, I do have one more. I had to. So two more things. The numbers
Are you stealing my thing?
came
I
in.
always do the numbers. You fuck.
Okay, you got the numbers for NXT and Dynamite this
Yeah,
week.
I always
Okay,
have the
it's
numbers
yours.
ready.
Take it away. Take it away.
I thought we didn't mention the Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's contract
I
with
was going to let you do
AEW.
the numbers, and you took away my other thing. Anyways, go ahead.
The Jeff Hardy, his contract's up with AEW as of June 14th. When you were listening
As
to
of
this,
today.
on a Friday, and
Oh yeah, I guess we released.
they were saying they could.
Friday's tomorrow. Today's the. Anyways, it's go. I'll shut up.
It was originally
It's kind of
thought
my
that
thing, though.
AEW would add injury sabbatical time onto the end of the contract, but apparently they're not. I know WWE does that sometimes. Many are expecting him to show up at
AEW does that too. AEW does that too. But anyways,
which ratings do you want to do? Want first?
well, obviously do the better shows number first.
NXT did 718,000 viewers. The P18 to 49 rating was 0.22. I honestly thought they would get more than that with Cody Rhodes being advertised. They didn't. It was similar to last week's. But
yeah.
So you keep cutting it out. AEW Dynamite did 681,000 viewers with a 0.23 in the P18 49.
Yeah, that's fake news. That's fake news. That didn't happen. That's fake news.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. WWE planted that number.
Oh yeah. Duh. My bad. Silly me. Yeah. I'm even more intrigued for next week's ratings because Dynamite has been on a full plummet in ratings.
Yeah, it's not been good, man. It's been all downhill since the brawl out footage. It's
So last week's ratings for
when you got that kind of talent, you got MJF back, you got Will Ospreay, you got Okada, you got all this shit going on, and you can't bring in the numbers. There's something wrong.
Yeah, last week's numbers were 790,000 viewers, and the P18 to 49 rating was a 0.28. They dropped.
Yeah, but last week I kind of get last week to this week because last week was not good at all.
Yeah, that's true. And NXT's ratings,
it was really bad last week.
NXT's ratings were 768,000 viewers, 0.22 in the P18 to 49. So I mean, they didn't lose that P18 to 49 rating, just viewership.
So I mean, I read some rough numbers, but AEW's numbers from this time to last year at this time, most of their shows have dropped anywhere from 10 to 18% in viewership.
Mm-hmm.
And then WWE, except for Raw, has stayed pretty even. Raw has dropped like 2% since last year. So, I mean, those are just numbers. And I've always wondered about numbers. Are they skewed? Because like you and I, we watch shows late sometimes and whatnot. Do those get counted, or is it just purely live views at that time that get counted?
I think it's live.
So I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it. So I don't. Those numbers are kind of fucked anyways in a way in this day and age of how many ways we just finished watching Resurgence this week, and that happened a month ago, and I still tore their commentary to shit for talking about how the Young Bucks were just in Vancouver at the exact same time they were in LA. So they weren't. I was in Vancouver. They weren't there. I don't know what the fuck they were talking about. I was so confused. I'm like, are they talking about the same fucking show? But anyways, nonetheless, I don't know if these numbers actually, everybody seems to hang their hats on these numbers. I don't think they really actually show the full picture. But then again, it's just going to boost both up, if anything. So I don't know. Numbers are numbers. But right now, AEW's in a tail slide, and that's not good when they're trying to get a new TV contract because that's the numbers that TV contracts look at.
Right. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see where we go from there. I think they're on a weird plummet. They got to do something to get something back.
What do? They'd already jumped the shark by breaking Tony Khan's neck. They've released footage of a wrestler that's currently signed to another company. They've brought in Will Ospreay, the best wrestler in the fucking world. They brought in Okada, one of the top 3 wrestlers in the fucking world. They got Mercedes Moné, who I already talked about 30 minutes ago, or allegedly talked about. What do you do? What do you do? You got MJF back. That's not even boosting your numbers. Like, what do you fucking do?
Sorry.
Maybe they should go back to the old tactic of when Vince McMahon back in the 90s, and it's just like, how do we get you off TV? Well, you kill me. It's like, well, yeah, I guess that would work. So what? They got to kill Tony Khan off TV to get some rating? I don't fucking know.
If you care, I know we're a pro wrestling podcast, but if you watch any of the UFC breaking news, UFC 303, Conor McGregor, Michael
Well, it
Chandler
kind of
was
does fall. It does kind of fall into it because it's the same company now. So,
TKO.
anyways,
That pay per view, that headline fight is off. McGregor apparently was injured during his training, so that fight will not happen again. We've been delayed for this fight for a while, and the new main event for UFC 303.
I heard that Michael Chandler bitched out, but that's just what I heard.
Not a chance. I'm sorry, but not a chance. Michael Chandler's been in there with killers, and he was excited for this fight. Remember when he showed up on Monday Night Raw and called out Conor McGregor?
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. The new main event is going to be for the light heavyweight championship. Alex Pereira taking on Jiri Prochazka. So that'll be the new main event for UFC 303. Pereira is a scary son bitch, and yeah, that's what they've switched to.
Yeah, UFC is UFC. I mean, the big names do draw like McGregor and whatnot. I was talking with you about this the other day. I'm from the era. I like Anderson Silva. That's the shit I like. Silva was a dog.
Pretty sure he's boxing Chael Sonnen.
Anderson Silva has been doing really well in boxing for the last few years. That's what he's gotten into in his 40s there. But nonetheless, I haven't really paid much attention to UFC lately, and it's really nobody really strikes me. I was excited for this match, so I wanted to see this. Mainly because I figured McGregor would get his ass kicked again. But
truly thought that as well. So that should be that.
Yeah. Yes, so as you may notice here, we do have different shirts on today, or yesterday, or tomorrow. Anyways, Kurt has something that he'd like to say, and I do believe it involves a sincere apology to yours truly. So take it away, bud.
I wrote it down. Dear RK, I apologize if I hurt your feelings in any way by hitting you with false accusations claiming that your internet was not up to snuff. After careful investigation, I learned that it is my piece of shit. It is my piece of shit internet that does not work. So, I hope you will find it in your heart to forgive me for my outlandish actions. Peace and love, your friend from down south in the shit state of Indiana with terrible Wi-Fi connection via AT&T who owe me money because they absolutely suck. Kurt.
My fucking camera just zoomed all fucking weird. It sounded a little forced. You want to try, making that sound less?
Do you
Anyway,
want to know what I'm really reading?
No. Anyways, yeah. What
Look,
are you
look,
reading?
look, look. So in my notes, it's a copy and paste from my sister who's having car problems, and I sent it to my friend because her car shit the bed. And it says, "But my windows are stuck down. The air doesn't work. Radio and auxiliary cord don't work. Speedometer stopped working, and 8 lights just turned on."
Yeah, no, that's cool. You and cars and stuff today. I mean, you were just telling me a little story about how
We're not gonna
you
talk about
almost
it.
got into a. No, we're not.
We're not gonna talk
You
about it.
come on, Tony
Nope.
Stewart, NASCAR
No.
legend,
No.
two-time champion. Nothing
No.
happened. No, not
He
at all.
won. He won the race, so I think there's really not much I can say.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but shout out to my buddy Jack. He's racing his booty off. We finished third in the modified race, and we finished in last in the TQ race because we had position to battle for fifth place, and then the guy turned down into us, and we spun out. And when you spin out, guess what? You're the cause of the caution. You go to the tail, and there was only 2 laps left, so it was curtains from there.
But
Yeah.
anyways, enough of that crap. Let's get to wrestling.
So yes, I was saying it was RK's problem. It's in the it's going to be cut from the original recording. So you will see a cut. Obviously, you'll see the news, and then from the news you will get right into this. My internet was completely shitting the bed and did not reset until about 1:30 in the morning my time, and by then it was a little too late to attempt to record.
I Yeah, I'm sorry, but you just realized that you told people what they're going to see after they saw it, right?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I'm not in the right headspace.
No, okay, good. Anyways, where are we at?
Let's
SmackDown?
talk about SmackDown, man. Let's talk about WWE SmackDown from June 7th, 2024, in a location that you are just completely fascinated with in Louisville, Kentucky.
Dude, bury the lead much. Yeah, no, we always say that we want to be in the Tokyo Dome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably way more feasible economically anyways for both of us as we, don't have a lot of money. But
It's true.
yeah, no, the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky. I can't believe there's an actual fucking place called the
Mm-hmm.
KFC Yum Center. Like,
Yep.
what the fuck?
Right from my house, you hop on 65 South and you head to Louisville. And
Just imagine this.
right there.
You're there, you're watching SmackDown, you're just chowing down on some KFC, some popcorn chicken, I mean, I would assume that they serve that in the center, right? Or is it just
Oh, I
like
feel like
you
they
would
have
think
to,
so?
right?
Yeah. Just down there front row watching Randy Orton fucking RKO people just gnawing on a big old drumstick.
Yeah, the KFC Yum Center is pretty dope. I'm trying to think. I think I did go to a concert down there once. Here you go. There's a KFC Yum Center for you.
Oh, it's legit. That's actually that looks pretty
Yeah.
nice actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a pretty cool place. It's a pretty cool place. So yeah, that's the KFC Yum Center. Yeah, that's where SmackDown was from June 7th. This was the show. Let's see. We got confused the last time. This is the penultimate show before Clash at the Castle, and we kick things off with Cody Rhodes being shown backstage. Who's he waiting for? None other than the phenomenal AJ Styles. We get the opening segment being the bloodline in the ring. This is the anointment of Tonga Loa into the bloodline. We also get the anointment of Tama Tonga to be promoted to the right-hand man position that was originally held by Jey Uso under Roman Reigns. This is Solo Sikoa's bloodline. So we will see. And then, as we talked about in the news, it seems like Hikuleo may also be coming and on his way. So the bloodline grows ever stronger. And now they have their right-hand man. The best part of this segment was Paul Heyman doing the introductions for Tama and Tonga Loa, and Solo forcing him to say thank you to both of the Tongans for saving his life from Kevin Owens. But before everything can get finished, they're interrupted by Kevin Owens himself. He gets outnumbered until the Pride show up to save him. And the bloodline go reeling to set up. And as you can see on the bottom of your screen, we get a 6-man tag match later in the night. RK, what'd you think of this opening segment?
So I gotta say WWE's got to be careful here. Paul Heyman is selling the absolute shit out of this story right now, and he's killing it. It's so fucking good every week. The main focus is on Paul Heyman right now, and really it needs to be on Solo and Paul saying, these guys are murderers, villains. Like they're tough guys. They cause shit, and yeah, you can say that all you want, and I believe Paul Heyman, but then the actions outside of like maybe Tamatonga, who's actually just looked like an unhinged maniac, it Solo's got to step it up because you don't want Paul Heyman overshadowing what's actually happening with Solo. Don't get me wrong, Solo today compared to a year ago is night and day, and it's coming along, but they got to be careful because Paul Heyman might just be overselling this a bit too much.
Yeah, but that's just Paul Heyman, though, right? He's so dang
Oh, it's so
good.
fucking good, but you don't want that overshadowing the actual story of Solo here.
Yeah, and like we said, that's the worry with bringing Jacob Fatu in potentially that they were worried about so fast. Him coming in and overshadowing Solo Sikoa, and I don't know if Solo's getting better. It's getting better. I'll ask you an honest question: is Solo believable to you right now to be the quote unquote tribal chief? It's tough,
No,
isn't it? Yeah, I don't think
no.
so either. Not right now. He's got to do something, right? There's something's got to happen to where we're like, oh, okay, I can see it. And I think it may be when Roman comes back and he beats down Roman Reigns.
I mean, that's quite the sell. That'd be tough. Maybe that, or maybe he attacks Paul Heyman.
Ooh,
Shows I don't need the wise men. I'm better without the
mm,
wise men. I'm
yeah,
not like Roman. I'm not like Roman. I don't need the wise men.
that could be. Yeah, that could be a thing too. Um, we'll see what happens. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. First match of the night was the team of Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. They're taking on Andy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Easy victory for the tag team champions. This match really wasn't important. The important part was after, where Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark appear, as well as Isla Dawn and whoa,
Alba Fire.
Alba Fire, Jesus. The article I'm reading from, they call them the Unholy Union. No, they
It's
say
okay.
tag
I
team
get
one.
hung up on Isla Dawn all the time myself. So
They attacked Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. But then Baszler and Stark turn and start fighting Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, which leads for Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair to lay them out. This was a story setup, isn't it? I mean, this is just a match set
yeah, I
up for the
mean
future.
they're clearly setting up the triple threat at
Mhm.
Clash at the Castle for the titles. I've never been a fan of triple threat tag teams because I mean, why would you ever tag in a different team than your own because you're trying to
Right.
win? So that wouldn't make any sense. Hopefully, they do like the tornado style where it's one member from each team in the
Yeah,
ring.
I assume they
Um,
will probably do that.
But outside of that, it just never makes any sense. And I mean, we've seen that a couple times now, and it actually probably goes because I share the same sentiments as Bruce Pritchard. He says the same thing, and I feel like maybe he's responsible for the three members in the ring at the same time because he said the same thing in the past on his own
They
podcast that it makes no sense. Why would you tag in a different team? Why would you?
I think they were doing that. They did a couple of fatal four-way tag matches, right? Where all four of one individual, I think. So I'm glad
Yeah.
they're doing that.
But
Up
anyways,
next,
nonetheless, long story short, sorry, I'm going to cut you off. This might be the way to get the titles off Jade and
still
Bianca. It
think
might
it's too
seem
soon.
early.
Yeah,
It
it's
might
still.
seem early, but I mean, how else are you gonna do? You either have to have a breakup between the two, or you have to have a match where they can lose by not getting pinned
Yeah,
because you
that's
can't just have
true.
them lose clean.
That's true. I think the best way to do it maybe is have one of them kind of turn heelish and be like, "I'm better than you." Watch, and then she ends up getting overpowered. Whatever the turn happens, 1, 2, 3, they lose the titles. Up next, Cody Rhodes is in the parking lot, as we said, waiting for AJ Styles, where Nick Aldis appears and tells him that this is not what's in the best interest of the company. Cody, please don't do this. And Cody, however, he tells Nick Aldis that this doesn't concern you; it concerns himself and AJ Styles. We'll get into that more later. Sarah Schreiber is interviewing Apollo Crews, but then he gets attacked by Legado del Fantasma. Nick Aldis and Armor referees break it up, but Nick Aldis is frustrated because he just lost one of his matches for the night, where LA Knight appears and he is looking for Logan Paul, of course, and he demands to know where he is, and Logan's not there. Logan is in a Tetris tournament in California. Whatever. That's Logan Paul for you.
I mean, don't knock it. That guy's made a lot of money off of playing Tetris
Yeah, well, I heard
games,
just a
whatnot.
little breaking news for the
Something
Logan
about
Paul.
Japan.
Wow. Logan Paul did not do well in the Tetris tournament. He got schooled by like a 12-year-old kid. So he did not win the Tetris tournament. But
I mean, we all get schooled by 12-year-old kids in video. Have you ever played Call of Duty?
the new Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is coming out in October, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to realize why I don't do multiplayer, and I really enjoy the campaign.
Hey, I heard they're gonna have a longer campaign in this one. It's gonna clock in at
Good.
3 hours.
And I also, oh Jesus, that's not enough. And I also heard that round-based zombies will be back, but this is not a gaming channel. Could be, maybe one day.
I mean, one day, you know, if you go back to the first half of the video from yesterday, Kurt gave a great, little pep talk to all of the listeners here to
It did.
hit that subscribe button. So I mean, if you skipped over that part, just go back to the first like 40 minutes of the show and watch just that section. 'Cause it might be the best work of Kurt's career.
Thank you. Not my sincere apology. All right, well, work on
Yeah.
my sincereness. Speaking of
I'm
someone
surprised
that's
he
so,
admitted that because before we got on here tonight, he told me ain't no fucking way I'm saying sorry.
I
It's like, well,
swerved you.
should,
I
bitch.
swerved you. I was swerving you, setting you up to see what you thought I was gonna do. Did that off the top of my head too. I thought that was the best work of my career. Speaking of somebody that's
No.
sincere and doing the best work of their career, it is LA Knight, and he is confronted by Carmelo Hayes, who's talking some shit. And guess what? Aldous books Carmelo Hayes, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, coming up for later in the night. Up next was Grayson Waller taking on Johnny Gargano with Austin Theory. This was a pretty good match. Both guys go hard, and like we both were like, Jesus, guys, this is just a SmackDown. What are you doing? They put on a fucking clinic in this match. Both Gargano and Waller, both fantastic in the ring. Waller's going to pick up the win here, but the end of the match was a little bit questionable. It seems like we could have him turning on Austin Theory because he pulled Austin Theory in the way of a diving Gargano at the end of the match and was able to get the win over Gargano just because he used Theory as a shield. So, but this match itself, RK, what'd you think?
Yeah, the match was good. Johnny Gargano fucking put on like a pay-per-view quality effort here.
So good.
He channeled some Ilya Dragunov in that match and looked like he was just out there to murder Grayson with some of those shots, man. It was brutal. The one forearm in the corner is what really caught my eye. I was just like, holy fuck, Johnny, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that DIY is going to win the titles here relatively sooner than later, it's a little weird having Gargano take the loss here. But in the sense of Grayson in theory, we're obviously I think Grayson as a heel is the way to go and try to turn Austin face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I think that would be the right choice. I don't know. It'd probably be easier to do it the flip flop way because I feel like Grayson probably has a bit more upside, just in the pure charisma. Because Austin has not been liked since day one in the WWE for his character and his work and all that stuff. I mean, not so much for his work. He's an amazing wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll talk a little bit more about that later at the end of the show when I have my special announcement. But Grayson just feels like he has more charisma. It seems like he's made more of a noticeable impact in the short time that he's been on WWE compared to like Austin. That's just my takeaway on it. But it is kind of cool the Grayson pulling Austin into the way. It's a good way to get things started there. You know, little friction, and in the end, Johnny Gargano, just an absolute beast, reminded the WWE universe why he's there. He is just so good.
This is where we get the answers. What's going on? Cody Rhodes is still back in the parking lot waiting for AJ Styles. Nick Aldis shows up and as AJ Styles pulls in, but he's got an army of security guards for safety concerns. After that, AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, they arrive and they're arguing back and forth in the parking lot. Security in the way. Cody says, "I bet," and storms straight to the ring. No entrance music. Hits the ring, grabs a microphone. AJ comes out, and Styles says he does not care what Cody Rhodes wants and demands a rematch for the WWE title, where Cody accepts, but only if it's an I Quit match. Right there, Aldis makes the match official. They attempt to brawl. My favorite part of this is that I think we both said it when we were watching NXT with Michin. The OC's back. BC,
OC, BC, baby.
They're back. I love it better when they're together. And we got the match. We got the I Quit match for Clash at the Castle between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles?
So I've said this to you multiple times. I don't know if I've said it last week, but I think they got to pull the trigger here and give AJ the title.
Well, I'll tell you what.
They got to.
Don't dwell on anymore, because once we get done recording this, guess what we have to record real quick? Clash at the Castle predictions.
No, I know, but I'm just saying AJ should
I understand
win
what you're saying.
because
Yeah,
like
2 losses in a
throw
row.
throw away all the stupid reports you're hearing of all this merchandise sales are down. WWE's cold right now with Cody as champion. It's after WrestleMania. It's going to pick up. But beyond that, I just think you can't have AJ lose this match. You can't make AJ look weak here. Set it up for a trilogy at SummerSlam. Like,
Or Money in the Bank. You have the
it'd be
options.
Money in the Bank, one of the two. You could have a big trilogy match. We used to do this all the time back in the 80s and 90s.
Mhm.
Big trilogy matches. Stone Cold and The Rock. How many times did they fight for the title? Probably more than 3. And it went back and forth a whole bunch of times. They were both the faces of the company. So, like, you can do it. It's not going to hurt either or. Cody's a megastar. AJ's a megastar. It's not going to hurt either of them. Did AJ's stock lower when he lost to Cody at Backlash? No,
No,
it
I
did
think
not.
honestly, from that match, both of their stocks should have fucking skyrocketed, because they put
So
on a
therefore,
classic.
it doesn't matter. You could have the trilogy. I think you got to give the title to AJ here. It's not going to hurt either of them,
Here,
and
and
it's going to show that that they're willing to make title change, not have these year-long title reigns anymore.
I agree with you. I think that they should pull the trigger. I truly do. But here's my thinking. And this maybe is just me thinking too much about it. And this goes for both individuals in the I Quit match. It's really hard for me to wrap my head around either of them saying I quit. I'm just being
Well, I
honest.
mean, Cody's quit a lot.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. That is very true. And here's the catch. I think I talked about this when we were watching. You remember when there was an I Quit match between The Rock and Mick Foley?
Yeah.
And Mick Foley did not say I quit in the match.
He did.
Not in the match.
Ever heard it?
Yeah.
Ever heard it?
Over the speakers and everything, because they used his voice
Same
recorded.
thing.
And here's the thing. What did Cody say? He said I quit when he announced that he wants to do an I Quit match. Could they pull that off and have it be dubbed in and whatever, and then you dispute it, and then that's how you get your trilogy match? Totally fine with that.
I mean, that's some major heel heat for AJ if that's the case.
You just shoot a camera to the back, and it's Gallows and Anderson just pressing the button, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know how we got back here." And then it's just a questionable, like, "Oh my God, AJ is actually the champion," but
we all know how they got back there. They used Mishin to distract everybody.
Now that's another story for another day. So we'll see. We'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to the Clash of the Castle predictions. Tune in for that video. That'll be posted right after this one, really. Up next was the announcement of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending their women's tag team championships against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark at Clash at the Castle. The next match.
Crazy quick little story, and mine, and I'm sure your condolences go out to Alba Fire, but her mother went down to visit Alba Fire mid-May, late May, like May 27th, somewhere around there.
I didn't hear about this.
She was hit by a car and passed away.
Oh shit, I did not know this.
And yeah, and Alba continues to work because, but like, well, I don't know if I'd be able to work.
When did you say this was?
Like end of May this happened.
Oh wow. I don't know if I could be working right now.
No, I kudos to her to keep pushing through, but that's tough.
I mean, there's that's maybe her mother loved it, watching her, and she just keep on going. Yeah, condolences to her. That's tough. As someone that has lost a close friend in a accident related thing, it's tough. That's tough to get by. Wow. Did not know that. Let's try and keep moving now. Way to drop that one on me there. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's
I had no idea.
A testament to some people to be able to push through adversity
100%,
like that and to
100%.
continue to. I mean, you got to remember, it is a job to them, but their job is to entertain us, and they continue to do that through this kind of shit that happens to them.
Oh yeah.
This isn't the first time that like Drew's talked about how he's missed very important things in his life,
and I know this is kind of going a little far ahead. I did see this on Facebook today. As we mentioned, we're delayed in recording. Apparently, Drew's wife had some issues getting to Clash at the Castle, like health related. I think is what I read. So he like promised that I'm winning it for her. I want to just double check myself. Yeah, his wife is undergoing a medical emergency surgery right now.
Oh wow.
She's in emergency surgery, and she told him, "I want you to go there and bring that title home." Don't know what the procedure is or what's going on, but that is happening right before Clash at the Castle. It's a little because we won't be talking about Clash at the Castle until next week's episode. But
the sacrifices that wrestlers do to entertain us is ridiculous, and it's nothing but respect to them, because honestly, we're here talking about them entertaining us.
Yeah.
And they do it night in, night out. Like movie stars, something happens, they hold up production for a month or two, and then they come back to it. No, these guys, they got to show up every week, and they do it. They don't
even
like
in tragic.
And this isn't like the day of the '90s where if you didn't show up for 2 weeks, you're pretty much written off TV and somebody else takes your spot.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different of I mean, yeah, it's still, the fight is still there, but I think, like Becky Lynch can go away for a year, come back, her spot's still there.
I think
Like if you're worth it to the company, they're gonna accept it.
What
I'm
you're
sure.
basically saying is that these performers, outside of it, life's still going on. And I know AJ's retirement thing was a fake retirement, but there was realism behind that. Like he's missed a lot of school with his sons and whatnot and all that. Like this is more than it's more than a job in my eyes. It is their life, and then there's a whole other life that goes on while they're on the road. It's crazy.
And in the end of it, like I said, yeah, they make money and they make good money, but they do it to entertain us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got the utmost respect for him. LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes match took place. LA Knight picks up the win over Carmelo Hayes. This was a pretty good match. Carmelo's selling ability is pretty damn good. Do you think?
Carmelo sells like Shawn Michaels sells,
Yeah.
and that's saying a lot, because Shawn Michaels is probably one of the best sellers of all time.
Right.
Yeah, man, this match, I mean, it was a quick match. It was about 8 minutes long, and a harmless result in the end, because Knight needed the win to boost him towards the U.S. title shot with Logan Paul, which I think will probably, if it's at SummerSlam, could steal the show, honestly. But they got to be careful with Hayes here. He's taken a lot of losses since he's come up, and if you want to push him as your next big star, you're gonna have to start getting him a win soon. Look at what they're look at what they're doing to Braun, pushing him to the fucking moon.
I get
Carmelo
that.
Hayes, they're giving him losses, and a lot of losses.
Here's the thing, though. Look at the people that until recently Braun was having matches with and beating. It was squash matches, really, just killing everybody.
Yeah.
Carmelo's losses.
You know what I'm saying?
Cody Rhodes and LA Knight. And then what?
But they keep piling up. It's going to become.
But those are losses to legit top stars. One being a Hall of Famer. I mean, and Braun beat Max Magoo from who knows where. I just tried to rhyme it and it fucking failed. Let's keep moving.
You could have just said Dante Chen.
No, Dante Chen's getting dubs right now.
Well, yeah, but he did get destroyed by Braun.
He did. We got upstairs Nia Jax.
Nonetheless, you gotta know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
you can't just keep having a guy lose. He's gonna eventually. Do you want him to be the next Kurt Hawkins?
I was gonna say the next Ricochet.
Well, I mean,
let's keep moving. Nia Jax is walking around backstage, and she gets into some fisticuffs with Michin. And I just kind of laughed at this. If you watch, there was water all over the floor after they originally collided, and Nia Jax slipped and fell twice.
I think it was actually 3 times, but
3 maybe. It was pretty funny. They get separated, so I don't know if they announced. I think that they're having a match on SmackDown. I don't know. I don't recall if that was announced or not. But yeah, see what happens with that. This was one of my highlights of SmackDown. Bayley comes to the ring to cut her promo, as she does, but gets interrupted by Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. As we know, Bayley and Piper will have a match at Clash at the Castle. Green has the mic saying that Bailey's a loser. Niven would make Bailey a loser at Clash at the Castle. Bailey responded by saying, Piper, you don't need Chelsea Green. She's had respect for you. I've had respect for you ever since of the Mae Young Classic, and saying that she would have fun beating her in her home country. And then I think this has got to be my Piper Niven may just probably cut the promo of her career here. This was such a good promo by Piper. You don't really get her on the mic because she's got Chelsea Green as the mouthpiece. Where Piper basically says that she would take Bailey's compliments more to heart if Bailey knew her proper story. Mentioned that while Bailey walked in ready-made for the Performance Center, that Piper was in the Indies, cutting her teeth, doing her thing. She set a trail for European wrestling as a world champion, that she was a world champion before she came here, and that she would take the title from Bailey, but hoped the respect Bailey had for her was enough to make the pain heal more after she takes the championship from her. What do you think of this? Because I was really, really, really surprised with Piper Niven's promo here. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, no, my other camera's zooming weirdly, and I gotta fix it. But nonetheless, I'll not fix it right now and tune in tomorrow for the rest of Top Rep Renegades. No, but anyways, nonetheless, Piper Niven, she could have gone away. She could have left. She could never come back. She was given that Dewdrop character back in the day, and it could have destroyed her WWE career. She came out on the other side of it, and she's been around. She's been in the tag team stuff and whatever for a while now, and she's kind of just, she's a powerhouse. She just brutal strength in the ring in her matches. That's her style. I do enjoy it quite a bit. But lately they're showing another side of her. They're giving her some mic time, and you know what? She's been killing it. This promo was really top notch. It was a good promo. It was cut against, my favorite female wrestler of all time, Bailey, and it worked. It felt, you felt the heat there and everything. And I mean, this could be a really good match. I mean, the crazy thought coming into this weekend though, WWE is kind of primed to have all their Scottish wrestlers lose in Scotland.
I was thinking about that, and I was gonna save predictions, but if you want to talk about it real quick, we can.
Well, you got Drew, you got Piper, you got Alba, and you got Isla, and they're all in matches where technically there's a good chance they're going to lose those matches.
The only one, and this is weird because the only one, I don't think Piper beats Bailey. Truly, I don't think that's happening because I think we're getting Bailey Nia at SummerSlam. I think that's happening. So, and then the possibility of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire winning makes sense if they pin Shayna or Zoe. I get that one. Drew makes sense to beat Damian. Like it's hard to pick that match.
No, because CM Punk's going to be involved in that somehow.
We think, truly, I mean, we both do really think that, but it's like, man, are they going to have every single one of their Scots lose? And then I assume Damian and Drew is the main event. It's an interesting situation to be in. If Drew loses, them Scots are going to riot. They're rowdy in Scotland. The CM Punk angle makes the most sense. It really does. But what if there's more to it? What if Drew wins? And then it's Punk returns, because then
so here's how I look at it. Damian Priest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Damian Priest. So in the history of wrestling, there's guys that need the title to seem important, and there's guys that don't need to win the title to be important. They don't need the title. They're superstars on their own. So sometimes the title can make the wrestler important. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Damian, I feel, needs the title to be important. And with this whole Judgment Day thing going on, I think it loses a bit of heat if he's not the champion while it's going on.
I'm kind of I'm indifferent on that, because the Judgment Day angle is super hot right now. It is probably the hottest thing on Raw. And when I say the Judgment Angle, I'm including Liv Morgan, obviously, in that with the Dom thing. Man, it's very, it's an interesting place to be in if you're the WWE, but it's the fact that we're having this conversation and that there's so many ways you can go is a good thing. It's a great thing. But there's this looming factor that whoever wins this match is getting fed to Gunther at SummerSlam. So would you rather
100%.
have Damian hold the title till SummerSlam and lose it, or Drew? Is Drew going to beat Gunther at SummerSlam?
No. So this is what you do. Look at it. You don't want Gunther to bury Drew. I mean, it's not going to be buried. It's going to be a match. But you don't want Gunther beating Drew because Drew is going to be hot with CM Punk all summer and
Yes.
probably into Survivor Series, maybe further. Damian Priest, by the SummerSlam time, I'm sure you got this Judgment Day shit further along sorted out. Something's happened by this point. I don't. Drew's got Punk, man. Drew's got Punk waiting. He doesn't need a title to make that match important. That match is going to sell itself. I think you got to keep the title on Damian just to.
It's tough. It's a tough place to be for the WWE, but we definitely are talking about something that has nothing to do with SmackDown, so we need to keep things moving along.
No, if we're a wrestling podcast, we can talk about all things wrestling at all times.
You are right. You are right. So Logan Paul appears on the screen. He's cutting a promo from LA from the World Tetris Tournament and says LA Knight has not done anything to earn his attention and told LA Knight to stay in the mid card. And RK, you had a pretty interesting response to this comment.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I'm just trying to figure out this camera thing. It's pissing me off. Sorry, go ahead. Say that again.
Logan Paul told LA Knight to stay in the mid card where he belongs. Which was, you had an interesting comment to what he said there.
I can't remember what I said a week ago. What did I say?
You said, hey, Logan, the U.S. title is the mid card title.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm so not even. That is true. I did say that. 100%. Like, hey, stay in the mid. He's honestly, LA Knight should have just said it's a mid card title. You dumbass. You dummy. So yeah, no. 100%. Thanks for reminding me. That's funny. Yeah, no, it's true. It is a mid card title.
So Chelsea Green, Piper Niven are backstage, confronted by Naomi, where she took offense to what Chelsea Green had to say. We get Chelsea Green and Naomi booked for the next episode of SmackDown. The main event of the evening, Kevin Owens and the Street Profits taking on the Bloodline.
Don't mind me. I'm just trying to figure out what makes my camera auto zoom.
Yeah, you're good. So Kevin Owens and the Street Profits are going to get the win via disqualification. This match was just, I guess, to show the strength of the Bloodline. I think the main takeaway.
I gotta sit perfectly still.
You got to turn autofocus off. The Bloodline. I
don't know where it is. I couldn't find it.
After,
can somebody tell me in the comments where to find autofocus on fucking. I'm a Mac guy and I just got a Windows PC again for the first time in like 10 years. I don't know where the fuck anything is.
The Bloodline attacked Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford after the match. And it looked like Solo was going to go for his Samoan spike, but then he paused and had a moment of, watch this. And he hits Roman Reigns' spear on Montez Ford. Owens tries to fight back. He gets outnumbered. They triple powerbomb him through the broadcast table. The end of SmackDown is the Bloodline standing tall, and Solo Sikoa is getting more and more tribal, chiefy, trying to be Roman Reigns with the powerbomb and the spear. I thought that moment was really cool where he was like, you know what? I don't need to do this spike. Watch this, guys. Boom, spear. Was this kind of what you were wanting from Solo?
So yeah, I was basically burying the lead at the start of this whole thing. They needed to do this. They needed to make Solo look stronger and like he actually is running shit. So yeah, no, exactly what happened in this match should happen if you want Solo to be legitimately thought as the guy. And I liked it. It was a good angle. Yeah, I really don't have much more to say. You hit on all the points of what happened. It's what has to happen. Solo's got to look badass. Right.
Well, let's keep things moving. If you're ready for that, look at these graphics are amazing. You applaud. Good work, RK. Good work.
Quit pandering.
Glad to know you are contributing.
Wow. What the fuck?
What? It was a compliment.
No, dude, that was not a. You know what a compliment? That wasn't a compliment.
Yeah, it was called a backhanded compliment. NXT Battleground. No,
Look up the definition of
I know.
backhanded compliment.
It was a joke. The graphic looks fantastic, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches on the docket for NXT Battleground in the UFC Apex. We talked about this in the news segment. The superstars were not very happy with the space around the ring, and you could see this in the NXT Battleground, the broadcast. And it was really tight during the opening match, which was the NXT Women's North American Championship match, featuring Michin, Fallon Henley, Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Sol Ruka, and Kalani Jordan. This match had all the big moments. I'll spoil it now. Kalani Jordan does pick up the win. We both kind of thought Sol Ruka was going to be the one here. Correct? I think I'm correct in that.
Yeah.
But the spots in this match were fantastic. Everybody got to hit their big moves. Later in the match, one of the big moves was Lash Legend gets picked up by basically everybody and thrown through a ladder or onto a ladder, and the ladder breaks. That is wedged from the ring to the announce table, and she took a hell of a bump on that ladder and put her out for the match. And then we get of course, the prettiest finisher in the game. Sol Ruka hits 2 soul snatchers on the competitors, one from the corner of the ring and then one off of the ladder. She gets dispatched, though, leading Kalani Jordan to hit her finisher from the top rope onto, I think it was Michin, and to climb the ladder and claim the NXT Women's North American Championship. She is the first ever NXT North American Women's Champion, Kalani Jordan. We didn't really expect her to win it, RK. Overall, what did you think of this match?
Honestly, she wasn't even on my radar to win this match. Which makes it a nice surprise. Like I wasn't expecting it. I thought Soul was going to take it. She hit those 2 soul snatchers, one off the corner, one off the ladder. I'm just like, damn, she's got it here. And then Kalani Jordan out of nowhere took the win. The big thing here is this match. I feel like it was a great match. It really was. It didn't live up to the hype of, let's say, the men's original 6-man ladder match. It's really night and day in the end. But I think that has a lot to do with what we just said earlier and said earlier in the podcast and all that stuff. The spacing around the ring. I feel like they could have done more if they had more space. I feel like those 6 competitors in that match were the ones that probably said those things about the Apex the most. Is I feel like they probably were hindered from doing a lot of the shit they wanted to do because of this the spacing of the rain and the side of the rain and everything. So with that being said, I'm a little congested here, sorry. But it was a good match. It was a good fucking match. If it wasn't for 2 of the other matches well, I guess that's kind of, you can't really say that, I guess. The other 2 matches, this would be the best match. No, it was a good match. Really, this whole card was pretty damn fucking good. But this match kicked it off. This match kicked it off pretty
set
damn
the
good.
tone. The next match was the NXT Tag Team Championship match, the Supersonic duo of Nathan Frazier and Axiom taking on the OC, the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Supersonic duo is going to retain, and we both saw this coming. Why is that? Because we talked about it on SmackDown. The OC are a little busy right now helping AJ Styles. This was a good match. It showcased the athleticism of Frazier and Axiom to a T, and a little bit of Carl Anderson himself taking a Spanish fly off the top rope, and of course the power of Luke Gallows. We both expected this, but what do you think of the match?
Man, Luke Gallows, same style as Hulker, big bruising, bad motherfucker. Every time, and I mean, it's kind of weird to say this because I've seen a lot of Carl Anderson matches, but every time I watch him, I'm just amazed by how fucking good he is. He's like Carl Anderson in WWE is like Roderick Strong to me in AEW right now. Every time
That's
you watch
fair.
him, you kind of forget just how good these 2 motherfuckers are. Like they are. Carl Anderson is amazing. Roderick Strong is amazing. Like you just kind of forget. You're like, oh, okay. Like it's just their names. You know, you're just like, okay, it's a Carl Anderson match. It's a OC match. It's like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be good. But then you watch and you're like, oh god damn, I keep forgetting how good
Fantastic.
these guys are. The big thing here, Axiom and Nathan Frazier still looking amazing. They are probably one of my favorite tag teams in wrestling right now. They're so much fun to watch. They're so fast paced. They're high flying, crazy shit every match. It's so good.
It's in their intro. Never slow down, and they do not slow down. They are wide open the whole match. So they pick up the win and retain their tag team championships. The next match was my least favorite match of the night because, excuse me, the finish. Lola Vice, Shayna Baszler, the NXT Underground match. Lola Vice is going to pick up the win. I didn't agree with the decision, but I get why they're doing it. They are pushing Lola Vice to the moon. For she's getting better, but I didn't think she should get a win over Shayna Baszler. She gets the win with a TKO. She hit a spinning back fist and a little bit of a ground and pound, and the referee called the match. Hey, ref, I think it was an early stoppage. I think Shayna was still protecting herself and she was still moving, but who am I? Who am I? What do you
They're
think of the
just
match?
trying to create drama. They're trying to make it seem like it's an actual fight, and the referee with the early stoppage so they can continue this worthless feud for a bit longer. Um, this match could have been better if it was about half the length. If it was a quicker match, if it was like,
That's
like a
fair.
5 minute round, just like 1 5 minute round, the spinning back fist, and then the ref stoppage, it would have felt more like a real fight. This went on a little too long to have that kind of a finish, and
I
yeah,
get
it
I
it,
get
it was
why they did it.
entertaining, and that back fist looked nasty when she hit it. But
I get why they did it. But if they're trying to do like a actual quote unquote shoot um fight, they were in the UFC Apex. I'm sure they could have threw them in an octagon. You think, right? Just saying.
just let them have it. So here's the thing, and actually, I was just about to say this again, and then I remember reading why they don't do this. Have an actual shoot fight. They're both MMA, former MMA stars. They both know MMA. Let them have them a shoot fight. The only problem with this, and this is, I learned this actually literally just last week on Bruce Pritchard, Something to Wrestle With, is they actually, if they're gonna have a legit shoot fight, kind of like the old Brawl for All that they had back in the
Yes.
'90s, they have to
Butterbean.
get it was bad. But they have to get it has to get sanctioned, and it has to be properly done through all the sporting committees to have an
Yeah.
actual shoot fight. So that's where it comes down to.
Mhm.
It's way too much effort and all the licenses and all the protection you have to get to make it happen. And then it has to be well, I mean, it's in Las Vegas, so it could have happened. But nonetheless, it's a lot of work for them to have an actual shoot fight as opposed to what's considered entertainment, and they can get away with a lot more.
Mhm.
So nonetheless, they should have just let them have a shoot fight.
Yeah, I agree. We get a shot of Kalani Jordan celebrating backstage with Sexy Red, who was the host, of course, of Battleground. We saw her once. It was to open the show, and I totally spaced it. But shout out to Sexy Red. She seemed to have a really damn good time with the NXT people. Um, the next match was the NXT North American Championship match. Oba Femi defending against Wes Lee and Joe Coffey. And this was a damn good match. And it was really the showcase of just how much of a badass Oba Femi is. He hit some moves on. I know Wesley's a tiny man, but he was throwing him like a ragdoll, and he even was throwing Joe Coffey like a ragdoll. The finish came with, of course, it's a triple threat match, no rules. Mark Coffey Wolfgang appeared to take out Oba Femi. Wesley thinks he's got the upper hand, but he misses out. Joe Coffey takes down Wesley, goes for the pin. 1, 2, nope, no 3. In the background, you see Oba Femi rise in between Wolfgang and Mark Coffey, take them out, get into the ring, take out Joe Coffey. Wesley goes for like a Meteora, and Oba catches him with his knees and hits one of the fucking most like devastating power bombs I think I've ever heard on Wes Lee, and then hits a pop-up power bomb on Joe Coffey, who is not a little man, and he made it look so simple. Obafemi gets the win. 1, 2, 3. RK, what'd you think?
I'm sorry, Oba. I really am. I before we did it when we did our predictions, everything, and I've said I don't really buy Oba as the champion right now. This match changed my mind.
Yeah.
He was a literal wrecking ball out there.
Mhm.
Poor Wesley. Did he? I don't know if he said something to Oba before the match. Said something about his mother. I don't know.
Oh man,
He got. He was just. He was.
a
It's
punching
like
bag.
they just picked on him. He was just destroyed the whole match.
Tried to
Wesley had
climb
a
the
lot
top
of fuck.
rope, got
Yeah,
thrown into
nothing
it. He
worked.
just everything.
This is they're really pushing Oba. They want to make him look like a beast, an unstoppable monster.
Who's
A
gonna beat
just
the guy? Ooh.
he looked good. He looked he felt like a big old school bruiser power wrestler. Not always my favorite type of wrestler, but this match, it looked good. The action was there, and what made it more impressive was, like you said, he threw Joe Coffey around, and Joe Coffey is probably like
That
275. So
pop-up power bomb was ridiculous on Joe Coffey, and that's at the end.
it's
It
just
was
nuts.
so smooth. Overall, really good match. This was probably my second favorite match of the night. My favorite match of the night was what is next, and that was the WWE NXT Women's Championship match. Roxanne Perez, the Prodigy, defending against the Juggernaut, Jordan Grace. And as you said, I'm sorry, Obafemi. I think you should apologize to Roxanne Perez as well. You were doubting Roxanne, and I think Roxanne probably, can we both agree, just put on the best match of her career against Jordan Grace? Is that fair to say?
Yes, it is fair to say.
So yeah, this was a fantastic match with Roxanne trying to just take down the limbs of Jordan Grace, which is Jordan Grace ain't she built like that. We both caught our eye that there was something stuck in Roxanne's tights, and it was Jordan Grace's earring, and come to find out, the earring, all right, the earring was ripped out of her ear into Roxanne's tights, and she actually ended up getting stitches in her ear, and said that Jordan said she'll never wear earrings in a wrestling match again.
Why would anybody wear earrings in a match? It doesn't make any sense.
Apparently, she always has. Not anymore though. But Roxanne's gonna pick up the win here.
Oh, also, sorry. Kudos to the ref for, because I said it as soon as the rain finally popped
Yeah,
out of Roxanne's
grab it,
leg. I'm
grab it.
like, "Come on, grab it, ref. Do your fucking job." And then he grabbed
Boom.
it. I was like,
He heard
"Okay,
you.
he's
He heard you.
yeah."
This was a fantastic match, like I said. We'll argue it. It's a quote unquote not clean win, but kind of clean win for Roxanne. I thought it was a clean win for Roxanne because Jordan had a chance to put her away, but Roxanne reversed it.
No. She was distracted. Her title got touched by other people.
Yeah, Tatum Paxley appeared on the ramp and walked and grabbed the the TNA Knockouts title before Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke, made her WWE return to confront Tatum. Grace lays out both of them, gets back into the ring. She goes to hit the Juggernaut driver, but then Perez reverses it into, like, I guess you could call it a Stun Dog Millionaire, a cutter, and then hits the Pop Rocks for the
I'm still here.
For the 1, 2, 3. Roxanne Perez picks up the win over Jordan Grace. I think it was a clean win. You could say it was a little skewed because of the distraction, but Jordan did get in and go for the Juggernaut driver. It wasn't like she went in and Roxanne hit her real quick with the Pop Rocks and took her out. Roxanne reversed the Juggernaut driver into a nice cutter, then to hit the Pop Rocks for the win. 1, 2, 3. I was thoroughly impressed with this performance by Roxanne Perez. She deserves everything. She'll hold on to the title for a bit longer. We'll see who can dethrone her. What do you think of this match?
Yeah, this match, it was. Yeah, I do apologize. I guess I'm gonna be apologizing a lot tonight. I guess I don't know, but she looked good. Roxanne looked fucking amazing, and you know what? I originally thought that this was gonna be a Jordan win, entice her to come to the WWE. I don't think that's actually necessary. She'd probably come to the WWE as soon as her contract's up.
100%.
You know, if anybody in any of the lesser shows gets an offer a year and probably, well, I can't say she's been offered because that's tampering and that is a thing, but she's probably well aware that WWE's signing her as soon as they can. Um, if any superstar that was in TNA, Reign of Honor, sometimes most of the time New Japan, if one of the big companies, WWE or AEW, comes to you and is showing interest in you, you're not going to say no. So
Right.
you don't have to entice them any more than just saying, "Hey, we're WWE," or "Hey, we're AEW and we want
Mm-hmm.
you." With that being said, you know, Jordan Grace gracefully put over NXT's champ. Made Roxanne look fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne really showed up for this match. She looked so fucking good in this match. And yeah, I'm sorry. Roxanne's still legit. She's legit. This match was so much fun. This is probably my favorite match of the night.
Well, I agree with you. This was my match of the night. Let's move forward to the main event, which was Trick Williams defending the NXT Championship against the debut of All Ego, Ethan Page. This was a good match. It was And we said this in, I think, the predictions video. We were kind of like, man, I think Jordan versus Roxanne should main event. Obviously, it wasn't. It was Trick versus Ethan Page. The match itself was good. It was not, and was it a pay-per-view match to you, RK, or was it
Well,
more
no,
of
no,
just
don't bring up that shit. I know why you're bringing that shit up because I told you what Meltzer said. Fuck Meltzer. Fuck that idiot. This was a pay-per-view match. It felt big because Ethan Page is coming in hot. He came in for the last 2 weeks, absolutely destroying Trick on the mic
Yeah, he did.
and destroying him 2 weeks ago when he first showed up. And this felt like a big time match. Was it the main event match? No, that should have been Jordan and Roxanne. But this was a pay-per-view match. I went back and actually watched it again after I read what Fuckface said about it. I'm like, no, that was a
Was it
pay-per-view
better?
match.
It was? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm glad to
it's
hear
a
it. I haven't
pay-per-view
watched it
match.
back.
But no, I enjoyed this match a lot. This was my second favorite match of the night.
Third. It was third. I really like that triple threat for the NXT North America.
The triple threat was good, but I just liked the feel of this match and the fact that Trick defended NXT from the newcomer.
And yeah, I didn't even mention that Trick Williams did, of course, get the win. I think we expected Trick to retain. There was rumblings that maybe it would switch up and Ethan Page would get the win, but that was not to be the case. Before we move forward, RK, any final thoughts from NXT Battleground?
Are you expecting something from me here?
I'm just asking. General question.
No, it was a good pay-per-view. It really was. The Apex took away from it. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view. I mean, let me rephrase that. It did feel like pay-per-view because the match quality was there and everything, but it didn't.
I know what you're saying.
Like you should have, more than. I think there was only 600 people there or something.
It felt more like the things they do, like the spring break-in, because it's still at the Performance Center. It felt like one of those. So yeah, I agree with you. So before we carry on to Monday Night Raw, we will be right back. And welcome back to Top Rope Renegades. Thank you for pausing for just a split second. We're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw from June 10th, 2024. And this is a fully loaded show, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, but also a very spicy show because we kick things off with a Drew McIntyre saying he is not focused on anything other than winning the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash at the Castle. Damian Priest, of course, comes out with Finn Balor and JD McDonough. There's an important piece right there. No Dominic Mysterio. He says McIntyre is still making excuses about why he lost the title. Priest says, I don't need any help. Sets up a match later in the night between Balor and McIntyre, where if Finn Balor loses, then Judgment Day is banned from the ringside at Clash at the Castle. We'll get it before we get into the next segment. What do you think of this? The match stipulation for later in the night.
They're trying to do something here. A part
of me feels like Damian's okay with it, right? Because didn't he, in his last title defense, said he doesn't want any help. He didn't want any help, and he was shitty when Finn and JD helped him. So this is him trying to prove himself. Clearly, this isn't.
That is true. No, of course not. But
because I'm going to spoil it. Drew wins, so we'll talk about it real quick. Drew wins later in the night, so Judgment Day is banned from ringside. But Carlito's not banned from ringside.
He's part of the Judgment Day now.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not officially a part of the Judgment Day. But he's another name.
He's a
CM Punk.
Well, we already know this has nothing to do with the Judgment Day and more to do with CM Punk than anything. So clearly they want to clear the way for CM Punk to be the only one involved in this match.
True.
Damian and Drew, of course.
Let's get to the back where Liv Morgan is in the back waiting for Dom Dom. And she says, and I've watched this so many times, I'm ashamed.
No, dude.
I'm ashamed to admit it because she has a hotel key. And the funny thing on the internet, the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community on Twitter, was hold strong, Dom, be a man, hold strong. As soon as she whipped out the hotel key, I'm like, yeah, I'm in for sure. She whips out the hotel key, runs it down his chest, and says, a handsome man like you shouldn't be with someone that makes you call her mommy. A handsome man like you should be someone that isn't afraid to call you daddy. And I folded twice in the matter of 30 seconds. The internet wrestling community apparently thinks they're stronger individuals than me. So I folded twice. Dom takes the hotel key card that she stuck in his pants and throws it on the thing and just stares at it like it's like a big spider in your house. You're like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do with this? Do I kill it? Do I capture it? What do we do? This is such a fantastic storyline, and I feel bad for Dominic Mysterio's wife at home.
Well, speaking of that, I don't know if it's just a rumor or what. I read somewhere, but apparently I don't. It's got to be a rumor because I can't imagine it's true. But apparently, Dominic's wife has agreed to appear on a show.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. But why would it's obviously it's just a rumor. It's got to be a rumor.
I was watching something and they were talking about this instant, and the guys were like, he didn't have his wedding ring on.
He's a fucking wrestler.
Yeah,
If they're telling stories, people.
Let's be
He
honest.
thinks.
Let's be real here. There's no way that Dom is okay with this if his wife wasn't okay with it. I think. I could be wrong. It'd be wild if she tuned in on Monday Night Raw and Liv Morgan is just running a hotel key card down his chest.
That's like, imagine the worst that happened.
Imagine that. Yeah, we'll get into it. Like imagine that phone call at the end of the night. Hey, babe, how was work? Oh, I saw you. I saw you. You smiled a little bit too. I saw you. Interesting.
So you can't say that because there is a plethora of history in wrestling of entire relationships being destroyed by storylines.
Oh yeah, Matt Hardy and Lita and Edge. Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah.
That listening.
You want to go down a rabbit hole. Just look up any Matt Hardy, Lita, Edge interviews, stories, and shit. There is some crazy fucking shit that goes on.
The way Edge puts it is he's like, it was a shitty situation, but we all came together and agreed that hey, we can make something out of this, and they did. They truly made a really good storyline out of it.
Yeah, see, that's Edge saying. But you ask Matt Hardy, and he'll tell you that he was not involved in any of those talks, and it was just sprung on him.
That whole situation was wild. Up next, we get Io Sky. Sorry, not even. This is the first match of the night. Io Sky taking on Lyra Valkyria, and Io Sky's kind of been going through a mood change, and she is just is crazy the word to say it, or irritated or frustrated. She is on a different level right now of anger, and the anger she takes it out on Lyra Valkyria and picks up the win. Damage Control attack Lyra after Io wins. She is saved by Caden Carter and Katana Chance. What do you think of this? Is it new? It is. It's this new style of Io. This unhinged Io Sky.
I don't like it.
No.
I want like Io, like the old Io Sky back, where I don't know. I'm not buying it. I don't feel it. See where it goes. Obviously, they're trying to do something because something does need to change with Damage Control. It's kind of it's been stale for a long time, and that's even going back when Bayley was still in it.
Right.
And I love Bayley. I'll say that every day of the week. If she ever comes across this podcast, I love you. But anyways, nonetheless, yeah, man, this match was good. Valkyria looked good again. I've talked some shit about her in the past and whatnot, but she's looked amazing since she's come up onto the main roster. She looks better every week. She looks strong. She is a great wrestler.
Yes.
They might need to find a gimmick change for her at some point down the road to really push her over the top, because that's where I get hung up on her. But outside of that, she's got the look. She wrestles phenomenally well. There's nothing wrong there. Io, she needed this win. She did.
Yes.
And that's where it leads into what's going on. So something's got to change. Seems like a lot of wrestlers are saying that. Apparently, I just read just before we started this that Natalya has re-signed with the WWE, but I don't know. I haven't really looked into it deeply, but I just read it quickly, so okay. I'm gonna figure that out. But nonetheless, yeah, let's see where this goes. I do like this match was fun. It was a good match.
Mhm. Up next, back in the Judgment Day clubhouse, Dominic Mysterio has to come clean to the boys and tells him that Liv
This
gave
was the
him.
best. This whole all Judgment Day, all nights, all these
Yes.
were so fucking good, man.
Comes clean and says she gave me a hotel key, and Carlito's response was, "That's cool." And then Judgment Day was like, "No,
Le
it's not." He's like,
Chateau.
"Oh, that's not cool. That's not cool." And that was that. And we'll get more Judgment Day, as you said, all night long. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair in the building. We'll get into that a little more. The Miz is looking for R-Truth. He comes across Sami Zayn, who says he hasn't seen him. Zayn sees Maxine Dupree and Akira Tozawa, tells him that you guys don't have to deal with Chad Gable. Otis explains that he's lost so much, and he drops references to Mandy Rose, his peach, and his old tag team partner Tucker, Tucky,
Heavy machinery.
Heavy Machinery,
Yeah.
Tucker, Otis and Tucker. And he says that Chad Gable brought him new meaning, and Sammy says, "You don't have to take this. This is really good storyline. This whole thing, when
Man,
Otis fully turns, is going to be a beautiful moment. It might actually happen at Clash of the Castle, and I'm very excited for it.
dude, the pop
Yeah.
when Otis turns is
The
gonna be
pop,
fucking
and
huge.
you're getting that pop in Europe and and overseas, and that crowd is going to be over the moon. It's going to be amazing.
If it's anything like the last two overseas, well, Saudi's Saudi, but if it's
Saudi
anything
stuff.
like France,
France, then you had the Puerto Rico crowd. Yeah. Let's go back to the Judgment Day clubhouse, where Damian Priest wants to know what the hell is going on with the Liv Morgan situation, and then everyone kind of notices, oh shit, the key card to the hotel room is missing. We'll check back in with the Judgment Day later. Ludwig Kaiser, we get a
I
vignette,
mean,
and
who
he
wouldn't
says,
be fighting for that key card?
dude, you'd have seen my head pop up and be like, I don't know where it went, guys. Whatever.
No,
You don't
it's
need her,
gone.
Dom.
It's gone.
You don't
It's
need her.
gone. You don't need to look for it. It's gone.
Ludwig Kaiser announces that he will be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Next match of the night: Rey Mysterio and
Man,
Dragon
I
Lee.
love back this. I love that they're pushing Kaiser here.
Yes, he deserves it.
I
He's
do like this a
fantastic.
lot. They're gonna see what he has, and this is what WWE will do. They'll get a spark of a guy. See, they test him out, see how the crowd reacts, all this stuff, and I'll put him in a story, whatnot, tag teams, stables. It's pretty generic start for most guys. And then if they show any spark or something, they'll give him a little push. And they're doing this for Kaiser right now, so I hope he can run with it. And maybe we get an Imperium World Heavyweight Champion and an Imperium Intercontinental Champion.
I can see it. The next match was the Rey Mysterio Dragon Lee teaming with Braun Strowman, taking on the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough and Carlito. The match, not important. Whatever. The match happened. It's what happened after the match.
No, dude, we're here for the wrestling, okay?
No,
We're here
we're
for the
not.
wrestling.
Liv Morgan comes out and she distracts Ray. She distracts Dom. Dom's telling her, get out of the ring. He slides out of the ring. He's like, get out. She's on the ring apron. Zelina Vega ends up hitting her, and she falls on top of Dominic Mysterio in what can only be described as cowgirl position. A very compromising position.
Dude, this is
I
I don't know
fold
how they're
again.
getting away with it.
Oh.
I don't know how they're getting away with this shit on
Oh.
PG, but they're definitely setting up for some crazy shit when they get to Netflix.
Oh, okay.
I've said this before. I hope when they get to Netflix that Raw becomes more like the older crowd's wrestling show and SmackDown stays the more family orientated show, which is kind of what they're already leaning towards
similar,
anyways.
Yeah.
But I
So
mean,
when
Netflix is gonna allow some of these stories to get a little bit crazier than they already are.
when Liv landed on top of Dom, you know, I I
I'm
made the
sorry,
joke.
folks. If you didn't like it, if you did like it, whatever. But if you didn't like it, this has been wrestling MOs for the last 30 years. I mean, sex sells. It always has in society, and that's what they're aiming for here right now.
If you
It's the
didn't
sexual innuendo.
if you didn't like it, you're uppity and you're not into that stuff, or you're just not into female, the hot female on a man.
Dude,
It's fine. What? If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. I did.
you just said okay.
And I really I liked
This
it, but
might be our
also
last. This might be our last
it
show,
wasn't a
folks.
shot. It wasn't a shot. I didn't like it because I'm now infuriated. Like, fuck you, Dom. Like, fuck Dominic Mysterio. You get Rhea Ripley all the time, and then now you got Liv Morgan on you cowgirl style. Yeah, I made the joke earlier about the key card. That's when I would have folded, or when she says daddy, that's when I folded. Yeah, you telling me I'm not folding right there? Dominic, you are a stronger man than anyone else. Because you fucking kidding me? Wow.
How good
Dragon.
is Dom? How good is Dom from where he was 2 to 3 years ago to where he is now?
The luckiest
He's
son of a bitch in the
really
world.
no, he's just really done a good
Yeah,
job
he
at
has. Yes, his
all
character's
this shit
fantastic.
that he's done. His character work has been phenomenal for the last year.
Oh yeah, Dragon Lee pins Carlito. That happened. Whatever.
Yeah, well, okay. So the match,
If you have anything to say about the match, go for it.
the match is what I care about.
I forget about it. I don't know.
There's something fun about watching Braun just destroy.
Yeah, I do.
There's just something fun about it.
Him and JD every time it's like, nice.
So good. Braun is just fun watching that guy. You know, it just seems like he's having a good time, and why wouldn't you? He's just killing people, and you know what I mean. Anyways, wow, we are really going for a home run on getting us kicked off YouTube here, killing people and talking about sex and shit.
It's
But
called.
anyways,
You have to say unaliving.
Unalive. Yeah, is that a thing? I don't fuck.
It's what people say apparently on social media in order to not get banned. That's what I've learned. You have to say unalive. I don't know.
Fucking world's weird, man.
Gay. Never mind.
What?
I made a reference to gay people, and I said cowgirl. We're done. We're toast. We're cooked. It's over.
We'll see where it goes.
Shout out to the gay people. It's June, Pride Month. Shout out to all the gay people. Be happy.
Good thing we only got like 20 people watching this a week.
We're cooked. I compliment
if we be.
I can. You want to be honest with you real quick? Not like that. I last year attended a Pride event. The girl I was dating had me go to it, and I obliged. And it was actually it was very entertaining. It was very fucking entertaining. The LGBT community put on a damn good party. That's yeah. There you go.
Actually, fun. So now that you bring that up, a buddy of mine posted on Facebook.
Tread carefully. Tread carefully.
A buddy of mine posted on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. He's like, bought these 2 tickets for me and my wife. Things have come up. We can't go. If anyone wants them, come get them. And there were 2 tickets to a drag show that was here in town.
That's where the part
I was like, yeah, you know, I've heard good things. Like, they're fun. Like, I've heard friends of mine go to this. It's actually a blast.
Dude.
I didn't know if I had time to do that. Anyways, the night came up. My buddy posted on Facebook. He's like, well, nobody wants the tickets. I guess I'm going to go by myself. And my wife's going to go do what we need to do. And then I'm just like, fuck it. I'll come with you, man. So we both went. And, dude, that shit was fun.
It was a really good. It was really entertaining. And then the performers went to the, I guess, called the after party at the local VFW, where everybody hung out in it's in Carmel, Indiana. Shout out to that VFW. And
are you saying, is it like Carmel or is it Caramel, Indiana?
It's Carmel, Indiana.
Okay. No, are you saying Carmel like caramel?
It's Carmel, Indiana. It's where all the rich white people live.
No, answer my question. Is it caramel? Caramel? Is it, or is it just CARMEL?
CARMEL.
Okay, so it's not caramel because you know you. Wow, I just about said you people.
Dude. Wow.
Dude,
can we talk about
we're
wrestling? Jesus.
No, but anyways, you know how some people say caramel and some people say caramel.
Actually, it's funny.
Say fucking. If anyone says caramel, that's not how you fucking.
People that live in Carmel, Indiana, we make fun of them and say caramel, and they get irritated. It's funny. I don't go up there much anymore. Anyway.
Heard it here, folks. Kurt hates Carmel, Indiana.
What an episode, man. What an episode. We're having a good time. Let's get to Ricochet giving Ilya Dragunov a pep talk. Ilya says he's going to get by Braun Breaker, and then Ilya and Ricochet, we're going to run it back with another one-on match when we see each other again. We'll see about that.
In AEW.
Io Sky backstage, as we said, she's got this character change. She is freaking out and tells Dakota Kai and Kairi saying that damage control needs to change. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens with that on next week's episode of Monday Night Raw because nothing else happened with damage control the rest of the night. Before we move on, does damage control miss having Bailey in this group?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so too. It's and
so
Asuka's
I know you're a huge Dakota Kai fan, and you're like, oh, she's leading. No,
well,
Io's.
it was kind of implied that she kind of took that role, but you can't fill
Well,
it
she
with
obviously
Bailey.
didn't run with it well enough because it
can't fill the
quickly.
Bailey. You can't fill the Bailey role. You just can't. What Bailey did for damage control, you can't fill that. And they don't even have Asuka right now.
Bailey's the best fucking women's wrestler of all time. No, I'm serious. She made my top 10 wrestlers of all time list.
Yeah, you're just like Dave Meltzer. It's a personal fucking list. Did she make mine? No. Does it mean it's wrong or right? No.
Kurt had no women on his top 10 wrestlers list.
I'm sexist. Fuck it. The episode's going downhill anyway. Bailey's not the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Sorry.
Who is? Let's have this quick conversation. Who is?
You want to have this conversation right now?
Yeah.
You want to do this?
Yeah. Who's the best women's wrestler of all time?
This is going to piss you off, but you want to. I truly think it's Charlotte Flair.
I can agree with that. It's a good argument. Good argument.
Let's just
you really come down to any of the four women in the four horsewomen is really your only choices.
Yep, 100%.
Maybe you go back a litlittle further and you can say like Bull Nakano or something, but
right,
like could be thrown into that mix because she kind of changed the face of wrestling back in the 90s and 80s.
You can kind of try and make a case for Trish Stratus because she was kind of a semi trailblazer, but she was also.
I'm sorry, but WWE was in a bad spot doing that diva shit. It did not work. It was.
You can kind of throw AJ Lee in there a little bit. She's not the greatest of all time by any means, but what AJ Lee did, she was a part of the start of the change, and then the four horsemen women came in and just turned things.
Well, you listen to any of those four women, they'll mention AJ Lee as an inspiration for a lot of that shit.
I even have
when it comes down to it,
Paige as well, pre-injury, pre getting put out. Paige was on fire. But I think it's Charlotte. Honestly, Charlotte's fantastic. I mean. I'm not, and this is not shit talking Bailey, so don't think I am. Out of the four horsewomen, rank the four horsewomen. Go for it. Go ahead. Rank them.
No, you go first.
Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, Sasha.
Bailey, Charlotte, Becky, Sasha.
The reason I put Charlotte and Becky ahead of Bailey is because they were the first women that main evented a WrestleMania. I think that holds.
That's fair.
That holds over, and it's crazy. And then, like, I'll say like this.
So another thing in wrestling,
the four horsewomen.
No, fuck you. There's another thing in wrestling that goes a long way is longevity and ability to, consistently work without injury.
Bailey. 100%. Bailey. But what I was saying, the four horsewomen, they're at the top right here. And then you have to go a while to find who I think would be next, if that makes sense.
Yes, 100%.
It's not a slight against Bailey, Sasha, Becky, for me putting Charlotte. It's hard for me to even say Charlotte over Becky because I think Becky can make a really good case for being number one as Bailey.
See,
I don't
Sasha
think
Sasha would probably. I'd put Sasha
anymore.
Maybe a little higher on the list, but granted, I 100% agree why Naomi and Sasha left the WWE in the first place. They were getting shafted in with the tag teams and the booking and the money and everything, and I get it. But she kind of lost a little bit of respect when she didn't want to come back because the change had happened. It was Vince she was pissed off at. How Vince would book the women.
Right.
And it felt like she went for the money over, which you can't fault people for, but I do. I am. She should have seen that the person that caused her to leave the WWE wasn't there anymore, and she should have came back. Naomi did, and I think she should have too. She should have stayed loyal to WWE, and just hold your grudge against the guy that's now not even fucking involved anymore.
Right. I agree with you. All right, let's move along here. Sami Zayn comes out to cut a promo on Chad Gable, calls him a manipulator, plans on defeating him at Clash at the Castle and putting an end to all of this. Gable comes out. This is obviously right before the Sami Zayn Otis match. Gable says the Alpha Academy is happy, and when he wins the Intercontinental Championship, it will be even better. Sami Zayn and Otis have their match where Sami is going to pick up the win over Otis, obviously. Didn't think they were going to give that to Otis. Otis loses when he kind of gets distracted by Chad Gable because Chad's yelling at him to do what he wants, and Otis doesn't want to. After the match, Otis gets a nice smack in the face from Chad Gable. He gets pissed off, but then he drops Sami Zayn with the world's strongest slam, but then turns to attack Chad as well, who is cowering in the corner like a baby. But Otis doesn't do anything. He just walks away to the crowd being like, what the fuck, Otis? Just do it already. And that's where we leave going into Clash at the Castle. It's a great storyline right now.
It's the payoff is what's going to make it all worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't liked some of this story because mainly they've used it to overshadow very good matches between Gable and Sami Zayn. I haven't liked those parts of it, but right now the storytelling is the payoff is what's going to matter. It's going to be so good, and Gable's going to become one of the biggest heels in WWE with the payoff of this story.
Truly think that there's a possibility of you getting two things to happen: Chad Gable winning the IC title at Clash at the Castle and also getting the Otis turn?
It could happen.
Because I'm torn on that. We'll do the predictions later, but I'm torn on what I want to pick for that. But we'll get to that when we get the predictions. The Miz finally finds R-Truth, who informs him that they were set to defend their tag titles against the APA. Holy shit!
A fortune teller told him.
Fortune teller told him that, and he's like, "Here, meet the fortune teller," and it's Scarlett who announces, "You're facing AOP, not the APA." So we get that match, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, later in the show.
This shit just... How can you not love the Miz? He's so good at what he does.
We give R-Truth all the flowers, but the Miz is really good at going along with it and being in those situations. Like with the ice cream moment was hilarious. And strawberry. He wasn't gonna say strawberry. So Jade and Bianca are ringside for this next match, which she sees Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeating Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. This made me go, huh. Is it possible that, you know how it is on the go home shows? Whoever loses, it's like, oh, maybe they're going over. Could we see Alba Fire and Isla Dawn win? We'll see.
Honestly, out of all the matches that involve the Scottish wrestlers, the only match that I can see making sense in my head for a win for Scottish wrestlers is Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
But pinning
Jade and Bianca do not need those fucking titles to be important. No. They don't.
Yeah. Let's get to Braun Breaker defeats Ilya Dragunov.
Best match of the fucking week right here. Best fucking match of the
week. These two, I do it again next week. Fuck it. Run it back. Ilya puts on a performance of a lifetime. He's so damn good. Braun obviously is fantastic. Braun is going to get the win. But I think we'll get to who our wrestler of the week was at the end. But Ilya has to be up there on both of our lists because Jesus, he is so damn good at everything. His selling is top tier. And if you're starting a wrestling company, give me Ilya Dragunov as one of my main roster guys without a fucking doubt. This match was, do you want to talk about anything with the match before we get to what happens after?
Yeah. So back when we started doing this whole thing, we really got into watching wrestling together. You're like, Ilya had a match in NXT and you're like, watch this guy. This guy's the real deal. And I'm like, okay.
It was a bad match.
I'm like, I don't see it, dude.
It was him, Carmelo, wasn't it? And the match was not the greatest. It was probably their worst match. And I was like, fuck, all right. And then you got to see it.
Yeah. Ilya in this match and against Braun Breaker. And he took Braun Breaker to the limit. They had a 16-minute match on Raw. This was phenomenal. Ilya is he's a superstar. He truly is. Braun is a superstar. They both are. These guys are the future. If this is our future going going forward for the next 10 years in WWE, it's not going to be uneventful. These two are phenomenal. Ilya so fucking good in this match. Even in the loss, it looks so fucking good.
I'm gonna combine because there is some stuff that happens in between, but I'm just gonna keep this whole thing together. With Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov and Ricochet. Braun goes to attack Ilya after the match for some more beatdown, but Ricochet flies out of the sky, attacks Braun Breaker to save Ilya, and it kind of looks like, oh, okay, well, Ricochet's still standing. We go to commercial. There's some things that happen in between. We'll get back to those, but we got to jump forward just to keep it all together here. Backstage, we see Ricochet trying to help Ilya get to safety when they get attacked in the parking lot by Braun Breaker. The segment ends with Breaker slamming Ricochet through a car windshield with a running power slam. There was also a spot before they get to the car windshield where he throws him.
CM Punk was very upset.
Braun throws Ricochet onto like a trailer, and the bump that Ricochet took was his back just flat on the concrete. I don't know if his hand slapped or what happened, but it looked rough. He goes through the car windshield, gets taken in an ambulance with Samantha Irvin at his side. This is what everybody is speculating, that this was it. This was Ricochet's farewell to the WWE because he is going to be leaving. We talked about it in the news. To free agency, he'll become a free agent, and most signs point to him potentially going to AEW or New Japan.
So here's my thought on this. Go ahead.
No. I think we have the same thought. So go ahead.
So here's my thought on it. Originally, this is the typical way to write a guy off TV, injure him, he's gone. That's it.
Yeah.
From the rumors that I have heard and mentioned on our news portion of this, that there's going to be one more appearance. I think because of what Ricochet, his career and everything, and who he is, and everything, I think they're going to let him go out on a high note. I think he comes back and they give him, the last, they let him go out on the high note. They let him go out with looking like the hero, and they let him leave. I think this is a different era of wrestling. We all know this. It has been said multiple times on TV. This is the Paul Levesque era. This is a new era of wrestling. I think they let Ricochet leave on a high note. I really do.
My thinking is, and this is probably far-fetched, I'm pretty certain that he is leaving. But what if this is WWE playing into this whole, because the contracts are so front and center right now in professional wrestling.
Oh, they are. It's ridiculous.
They're the biggest talking point for any professional wrestling outlet. Everybody wants to know what the contract status is of so-and-so, and when's it run out, and are they going to go here? Are they going to there? What if this is WWE jumping on it and being like, you know what? Let's play into it a little bit. Let's make them think, yeah, Ricochet's leaving. Let's plant seeds to all these insiders that, yeah, he's going to leave. Ricochet's going to leave. And then out of nowhere, he comes back and it's like he wasn't going anywhere. Not at all. And just play with people's emotions. I think that would be pretty cool. I do think he is leaving, but I think it would be pretty cool because nobody else has done this yet with these contracts, really, of when these reports come out. It's like, all right, well, they're either leaving or they're going to resign. We'll see what happens. No one's really played into it of just using the contract dilemma as, I guess, in a storyline in a sense, or just,
I guess the closest that we've got into it was the MJF scenario.
Yeah,
but,
he tried.
Him going completely radio silent for like 4 months made you really, like, up until WrestleMania being completely radio silence made you wonder. But they didn't use it on TV as a storyline, basically. But
if they can incorporate it in the storyline and like have Michael Cole be like, yeah, Ricochet's out with injury, and his contract, he may not longer be in the WWE in July. Maybe we may never see Ricochet again, and blah blah. And then he secretly resigns. It doesn't get out. News doesn't break. In this world, somehow it always fucking gets out.
There are people that go. I'm sure a lot of these contract news that come out, I don't think it's Triple H going online and going, yeah, we re-signed this guy. I think it's people that just have inside ties to like lawyers and shit, probably, that sign this shit. I don't know. But nonetheless, yeah, that could happen. I mean, so this, I can't remember the exact podcast. Don't quote me on this. I think it was a guy that knows Ricochet personally in life. And he basically said, I don't know the whole thing that's going on with it, what's going on. But I mean, unless AEW offers him like double what WWE is offering him, I can't see him leaving.
We'll see. I don't want to see Ricochet go. I love Ricochet. But if
But
he
for anybody
is
thinking that he's going to win the world title as soon as he goes to
no,
AEW, he's going to be used the same as he was in WWE. In the end, and this is not a slight at Ricochet, this is just how some wrestlers are. Some guys can wrestle and be one of the like Ricochet can put on banner matches, 5-star, 6-star, 7-star matches. It's in his athleticism, his blood, his style, everything. He is up there with Will Ospreay, Okada, that kind of style of
there was a
bigness
point
in the
where
wrestling ring.
there was a point where he was better than Will
The
Ospreay.
best, no, 100%. And then the Super Juniors in 2015 showed what Will Ospreay was. But in the end, Ricochet is still not very good at cutting a promo.
No, he's not that great on the mic.
And then there's our guys that can cut promos but can't wrestle worth shit, but they're so good promo cutters, and then they only have the 5 moves of doom. So, nonetheless, you got to have one or the other or both. If you
Yeah.
have both, you're shot to the fucking moon. Like right now, Braun Breaker has both. He can
Right.
talk, he looks menacing, and he has it all. But
So
going to AEW isn't going to make Ricochet the biggest sin in the fucking world. They ain't going to strap the title to him. He can't fucking cut a promo. And that's nothing against Ricochet. He is still one of my favorite wrestlers right now, but he can't cut. You're not going to put the mic on him, stand him out in front of the crowd, and have him cut a 5-minute promo. It's not happening.
well, if this is Ricochet's last appearance on WWE television, is there a Ricochet moment match that will stand out to you as your favorite from him in WWE?
It's a toss-up between the 6-man ladder match in NXT and the Logan Paul at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, those are probably my two. Mine's going to be the ladder match, though, for sure. I think we've said this a couple times. That's in my top 5 greatest matches of all time I've ever seen. So yeah, that match was fantastic.
I think that match was what kicked off you and I.
Yep.
Really talking about wrestling was like, you got to watch this match. You got to watch it. You've never seen it. You got to watch it.
I told you I was like, watch this.
And then we started watching nothing but wrestling.
And then I was like, oh, you don't know about NXT Black and Gold era? sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride that I'm about to take you on. Yeah. So yeah, that's what stands out to me. Let's keep things rolling. Let's talk about back in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. They're trying to get this thing with Liv Morgan settled, but then it's settled. We're good. Dom's good. And they all put their fists in to say, all right, let's go finish the job tonight, boys. The key card is in the middle of the table, and you sneakily see Mr. Finn Balor take the key card and slide it in his pocket while no one is looking. Interesting tidbit there, RK. What'd you think of that little Finn Balor moment? Or would you like to share your theory?
Well, I think I've mentioned it before. Maybe just you and I talked about it, but so we go back like 2.5 years when Judgment Day was just getting formed by Edge and whatnot, and he was bringing in Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley and all this stuff. And Finn Balor backstage was having a conversation with Liv Morgan, and the third person that was there is blanking on me. Probably not that important to the whole story, but there was another person there as well. And Damien's like, we got to stop Judgment Day before they get too much momentum.
Finn, you said Damien.
Yeah, sorry. See, I'm trying to think of who the third person was. It wasn't Damien because he was doing this shit with that. Nonetheless, Finn Balor was talking to Liv and another person backstage. It's like, we got to stop Judgment Day. They can't be doing what they're doing. This is going to become a problem. It's got to get stopped now. And then he's like, are you in to help me? And it might have been Luke Gallows. It was Luke Gallows that was in this conversation. It was Liv, Luke Gallows, and Finn Balor. Pretty sure. Maybe it wasn't Luke. I don't know. I got to find this again. But nonetheless, the one person says yes, and Liv's like, I have to think about it. But there's like a fist bump moment. Nonetheless, I think this has been Finn's plan from the start. Infiltrate Judgment Day and then break it apart from the inside once he has his moment.
It was just Edge and Damian, and then they added Rhea, and then they had the 6-person tag match. Finn Balor and Liv Morgan were teaming together against Judgment Day. And then afterwards, Edge introduced Balor as the newest member of Judgment Day, and then they turned on Edge immediately. That's when Finn joined the Judgment Day. Apparently, that was done according to Edge because he wanted to still be in the Judgment Day, but Randy Orton was hurt, Cody Rhodes had his torn pec, and there was no legit babyface, so they needed Edge to kind of take the ball with that one, and that's why the turn happened so quickly. So there was no other third person. I think you're overthinking that a little bit.
No, this was backstage. There was the third person. I'm gonna
Oh,
find
maybe
the
there
video
was.
for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
I'm gonna find the video for you, and we'll talk. I'll show it to you. I just remember watching this, but anyways, nonetheless, Finn was like, "We have to take down the Judgment Day." I think this has been Finn's plan from the start. He's got the key card. He's gonna. I just want to see Finn and Liv in the end come out and be like, "Haha, we did it."
Gotcha, bitches. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre interact backstage, where Sheamus says he wants to be Mr. Money in the Bank, wishes Drew good luck, and they talk about the old times and say that once everything is settled, they can have another banger for the World Championship. The World Tag Team Championship's on the line. The Awesome Truth defeat and retain against the Authors of Pain, thanks to the help of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, who attack Karrion Kross, and it gives Miz and R-Truth the opening they need to get the win. I think this was more so to keep the story rolling with Karrion Kross trying to kind of get Xavier Woods away from Kofi, but Kofi and Xavier still teaming together to take down Karrion. What do you think of this match? It was quick. It was very quick.
Yeah, it was 5 minutes long. It was like, it's. I don't know why they're trying to break up the New Day. I don't get the angle. I really don't. I don't understand.
I remember hearing something from one of the guys in New Day saying that we'll never break up, which you're in the WWE, shit happens, and you may break up. But at this point, I don't think you should break up the New Day. I think this is going to sound terrible.
You break up the New Day, and I think both of them disappear.
I think they just need to ride it out and retire. I think they're just. I don't know how much Kofi has left in the tank. Yeah, I think Kofi's been here for a while. He's been doing this for a while. It doesn't seem like Big E's going to make a comeback. And Xavier's been around for a long time too. Yeah. Xavier was TNA original, Consequences Creed. So, I think we're getting, sadly, maybe the end of the New Day. We'll see. Let's get to the main event, though, shall we? Drew McIntyre, as I said earlier, defeats Finn Balor. With this win, Drew has ensured that Judgment Day will not be allowed ringside at WWE Clash at the Castle. We close Monday Night Raw with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre staring each other down. Was this the right call to have Drew beat Finn and allow? Obviously, I don't think Drew was going to take the loss here unless it was shenanigans, but to have it where Judgment Day will not be allowed ringside.
Again, this match has nothing to do with the Judgment Day. In the end, this is CM Punk and Drew, as far as I'm concerned. CM Punk has been absent from being on TV for about a month now.
Yep.
Except for a quick little appearance. No, not even. It was after NXT that Punk said what he said at Battleground. Nonetheless, that was a fun little exchange.
And that wasn't even on TV. That was just a little social media thing with Roxanne. So
yeah, and then the AJ Lee on Twitter. She had to get Twitter back because she had some kind of event that she needed Twitter for, and then she's like, "Dad got mad at me."
And AJ said, "My daughters, I'll smack him for you."
Yeah. So it's unless they're having fun.
I think they refer to who is it, Roxanne and Cora Jade, as AJ Lee and CM Punk's kids. Yeah. Which, if you look at Roxanne and you look at Cora Jade, you kind of see a little AJ Lee in them, to be honest. Yeah, it's interesting.
And it's fun. It was fun. Dad got mad at me.
Yeah, CM Punk's all, he's been really helping those NXT. There was, as we know, Cora tore ACL, and she was just sitting at a coffee shop with Roxanne, and CM Punk just randomly showed up and was like, "Hey, how's it going? Having coffee?" Or was the CM Punk first returning, and Cora was backstage cutting a promo pre-tearing the ACL, and he just shows up. He's like, "I hate to interrupt, but keep doing a great job." And Cora's just taken back. And there's an old picture of Cora Jade getting an autograph signature from CM Punk. I miss Cora Jade, man. She's got to be getting close. I think I saw a video of her doing the test, after you have ACL surgery. What's that test where they strap your leg up and then you kind of kick and kick and kick? I forget what it's called. But she was doing that, and I guess she said it went really well. So hopefully Cora Jade's coming back soon. Randomly off topic, but any other closing things from Monday Night Raw before we get into the post Battleground NXT?
WWE's on fire right now.
Oh
Even
yeah,
though everybody's saying that they've been slow and everything, no, they've been killing it, man. The
watch
matches.
the
So
product.
the big thing that has happened since WrestleMania that I've noticed is, yeah, the stories aren't progressing as fast as people want. Like, yeah, obviously January to March is just going to be insane. It's build up to WrestleMania. The stories are progressing as fast, but the thing is, the match quality has been way the fuck up in the last 3 months. There's not really a ton of bad matches that are happening in the WWE right now. They're putting on really good quality matches, and a lot of them. Look at all these stars that showed up in matches tonight. All the stars that showed up in matches for NXT that we'll get into very shortly. Like,
Yep.
they're getting a lot of talent on TV and they're putting on good matches. So the match quality is way up, and it's SummerSlam season now. So after the pay per view this weekend, shit's gonna start picking up because they're building for SummerSlam. SummerSlams, they're probably, Kurt will disagree with me.
Yeah.
I
You
think
said
SummerSlams are
second.
number two. That's their number two show, and also they're getting 2 nights, and they're going to go to 2 nights in 2 years, and I think that's going to
What
become
do
a
you
standard for their big pay per views.
what do you rank their paper? Like, what do you rank like? Because what do they consider it, right? The big four, which is WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble.
Yeah,
Where do you put those on your list? Because we both WrestleMania is one. We know that. You say SummerSlam
WrestleMania,
two.
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Rumble, Survivor.
Yeah, I go Mania, Rumble, SummerSlam, and then Survivor Series. And Survivor Series actually was much higher on those. This is a fun fact. One of the very first WWE pay per views I ever watched, like as a child, was a Survivor Series.
So the old style Survivor Series. If we were talking about
I
this,
miss it.
if we talking about this 20 years ago, where they had all the tag
Uh,
matches and everything, and
can
some of the
they
crazy.
can they bring that back? Can they just bring back like the SmackDown versus Raw
Honestly, they should
style?
go to the Survivor Series being back to the old style of SmackDown versus Raw, or tag teams
Yes,
versus tag teams,
yes.
and then have an actual War Games pay per view.
I kind of liked it when they did the you, well, yeah, they actually did do that again, kind of recently, but not really. When they did SmackDown versus Raw, and they included NXT in it, and they had like the three main champions have a match, and then the women's champion. I thought that was really cool. I kind of want them to do that again. That was pretty fun and cool to see. That was during the Black and Gold era of NXT though, when
Yeah.
they were on top of the world.
Well, yeah, they
Speaking,
were basically pulling like pay per view numbers, like main
oh,
roster
it was
shows.
so good. Undisputed Era was running things. So speaking of NXT, let's get into it. I've said this before. I think to you, I'm a sucker for the yellow gold. This looks fantastic. Um, this is the NXT rundown, and I don't even have it pulled up yet. But this was the post show for Battleground, and it was announced that Cody Rhodes would be making an appearance later on in the show. But we open things up with the newly crowned first ever WWE NXT North American Women's Champion Kalani Jordan, who gets interrupted by Jada Parker laying claim to being the first one to have a title shot, but then she gets ambushed by Mi Chin, who they will have a match later on in the night. Or actually, it was already scheduled. It was the opening match. I'm kind of rushing through it, but that is the opening match. Mi Chin versus Jada Parker. And Mi Chin's going to pick up the win here over Jada Parker, which I actually didn't see coming because she's a main roster person. And normally we like to let these NXT stars get the win over the main roster guys. But nope, not this time. Mi Chin's going to pick up the win. The finish came when Jada tried to use a chair, but who was ringside? The OC with Mia and Mi Chin, whatever. Same person. We love her.
It's
Carl Anderson.
Mishin. It's always you watched the product when she was medium.
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah, I
It's
get
Mishin.
confused. Um, uh, Carl Anderson takes the chair from Jada Parker, allowing her to get the O'Connor roll for the win. Um, you're not a big fan of the roll
So
ups, but this one,
the third person. I'm sorry, I've been looking this up because it's been driving me insane. The third person that was in that conversation backstage was AJ Styles, because there's a triple threat between the Judgment Day, uh, Damian, Edge, Rhea versus Liv, AJ, Finn. And before that
okay,
whole match happened, there was a backstage altercation where um, Finn was saying to AJ and Liv that they have to take the Judgment Day down.
okay,
And AJ was in on it, and Liv was kind of ho hum about it. But nonetheless, I will find the clip. If it's next week's show that I show it, um, the it's vividly in my head because I do remember that this was like when I just first started watching WWE again in like
Mhm.
10 years, and I just remember that being so cool because I'm like AJ Styles and Finn. I'm like, holy fuck, these are like what's going on. Anyways, nonetheless, it happened, and it was AJ Styles was the third person. I think they
Okay.
did the too sweet thing, and Liv was I don't know. Nonetheless, I'm going to find the video, but it was AJ Styles that he was talking to at the time when that was involved. So
Okay. So it's Michin gets the roll up win after Carl Anderson stops Jada Parker from using a chair. Which why Jada went for a chair makes zero sense to me. I'd never get this, but maybe you're just trying to take your anger out. I don't
so
know.
the whole thing about this match wasn't even the match. It's the fact that we were saying, hey, the OC's back together.
Yes. I was happy to see that. We got on a little too sweet moment. Let's move to your favorite thing. Chase U, Thea Hale, Ridge Holland, and obviously Chase University, Andre Chase, Riley Osborne, and Duke Hudson are in the classroom. They're all arguing. Everyone's like just going back and forth. And Thea Hale shows up and says, "Everyone shut the bleep up and sit down." She said, "Fuck, guys," but it got bleeped out. And she told him that not everyone
Wait
on the
for
team.
wait for the. Oh no, NXT's not. Well, it's gonna be on Netflix in Canada. They probably won't bleep it out on
Nope.
Netflix.
Oh, let me know. We'll watch your broadcast instead of mine. She then told them that everyone on the team was a part of Chase University, and that it was not a teachable moment, but the truth. Thea Hale was a spitfire, as JR would say. Spitfire. She was ball of energy here. Shut the fuck up and sit down. I love this.
She's the glue, man. She's the fucking glue of Chase
Oh
U.
yeah.
And
Oh
after this
yeah.
whole little segment, even Riley and Duke were like, "Yeah, she's right. She's right."
She's kind of right.
So
Even
I mean,
Ridge was like,
I love this every time Thea's on TV. She's fun. She's just so much energy, and
it's
it's
fun.
good shit.
It's such a small thing, but that's how Andre Chase would talk in their moments where there would be a moment where he would get fired up and there would be a bleep. And I just love the fact that Thea Hale got her moment to have her little bleep. Up next, it is the return of Wendy Chu taking on Brindley Reese backstage before the match. Brindley's like, "Oh no, we're gonna have a great match." And they're like, "No, she's been acting kind of weird, man." And Brindley's like, "No, she's a sweetheart. We're gonna have a really good match." What's up?
You don't care that Gallus fought New Catch and Wesley?
Oh wow, I skipped that. Well, let me finish talking about me.
Okay, I was just curious because I'm like,
I
am I
totally
looking at this backwards or?
I moved down a little bit. My screen moved. So yeah, Wendy Chu, she's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a great match. She's a sweetheart. We're gonna put on a good match." Wendy Chu's not the same anymore, man.
You said it right off the hop. You're like, from those vignettes, I don't think
You
that
know,
it's
the
we're
broken
getting the
mirror,
same Wendy Chu.
and she came out very dark Wendy Chu and just beat down Brindley Reese for the 1, 2, 3. Or no, sorry, she put her in a sleeper hold, so tapped her out. Actually, I don't think
Hammerlock lariat. It
yep.
was a hammerlock lariat.
Yeah, it says via submission,
Hammerlock lariat. So
cross arm
hammerlock lariat,
sleeper.
and then cobra clutch.
Yeah, there you go.
Cobra clutch.
Yeah, so Wendy Chu's a little different now. And let me go back as RK pointed out, I skipped it. Gallus taking on New Catch Republic and Wesley. Gallus is going to pick up the win. Discus Lariat from Joe Coffey on Wesley. Wesley taking another L here. Because I mean, you got the
There,
pin,
I don't think it
but
means much because the story here is making Gallus look strong
and they do
and
look
and the
strong
Mystic
until
and
Obafemi shows up and he beats them all up.
yeah. Well, even then, but I mean, I like where Gallus is right now. I wasn't watching NXT when Gallus was around the first time. I do
Neither.
like what I'm seeing so far. They are Joe Coffey's a big bruising guy.
What's funny is
And
Ava was a part of Gallus, which is funny.
oh really?
Yeah, I'm pretty
That is
sure she
kind of
was.
funny.
I think Joe Gacy as well. Gallus was a little bit bigger. Yeah, Ava. This was when she was kind of doing the in ring thing. She's, by the way, Ava's doing a really good job as the GM right now.
I think she's amazing
Yes,
at what she does.
originally, and I think we can both agree it was kind of spotty. She was kind of seemed like she wasn't like she was a little nervous, but in the past few months, she has been really damn good, really good.
Being thrust into a role like
Yeah,
that, being
yeah.
your role is to talk,
And think
can be a
about the
little daunting, I'm sure.
expectations. Think about the expectations. Her father is. there's got to be high expectations for her.
Talk about her uncle, man. Her uncle is Rikishi.
Yeah, her dad's The Rock.
Fuck The Rock.
I did it for The Rock.
Rock.
Backstage, Byron Saxton catches up with the NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, where she brags about beating the most dominant woman in wrestling and promises that she will address the NXT Women's Division later tonight. Robert Stone asks her, "Hey, what are you saying in your thing? Because I gotta let Ava know." And Roxanne says, "She made me wait till the last second to find out my opponent. Ava can wait to hear what I have to say in the ring." And I was like, "Yeah, actually, Roxanne, you're 100% right in that statement. Talk your shit. You deserve it." So we'll get to that. That is actually the closing moment of the show. But we get the undisputed WWE champion, Cody Rhodes, where he previews his I Quit match against AJ Styles at Clash at the Castle before Trick Williams comes out. And they relate to their struggles as he asks him questions like, "Man, what is it like? You know, the struggles as champion." Cody tells him, after you win the title, there's always another mountain to climb. Cody makes the announcement that Trick's next contender would be determined in next week's NXT in a number one contenders 25-man battle royal match where people from multiple locker rooms will be in that match.
Man, this opens up a fucking door and a half, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can go of it as, obviously TNA. There's going to be some TNA guys in this 100%.
Well, I mean, it's already it's already been leaked out all over the place, but Matt Hardy's almost guaranteed to make an appearance.
And
Jeff Hardy's contract just expired, so could be a strong chance that we see Jeff Hardy fucking show up.
Can we spoil it? Jeff Hardy just showed up on TNA as we're recording.
All right, he just spoiled it. So Jeff Hardy showed up on TNA.
Yep, and Tatum Paxley. I saw something. I saw something really funny. Somebody commented on Tatum like showing up to respond to Jordan Grace's open challenge, and the comment was, it said, "Oh shit, Tatum Paxley, she's on TNA and she's answering the open challenge." What's crazy is, I didn't get any vignettes about who she is, so I really don't know much about her. Oh wait, yeah, I do.
Are we still fucking? Yeah. Why do people do this shit?
Yeah. In the closing moment of Cody and
actually,
Trick,
what am I going to say about this? Before we went to break last night, I mean, the Kurt's fuck up.
My internet.
I was burying AEW. I'm not going to lie. So
you 100% were in the news. Before the segment closes with Cody and Trick asked him one very important question. And there's a funny story to go with this, and you're gonna laugh your ass off when I tell you this. I don't know if you saw this or not. So Trick asked him, "You coming to the barbecue?" And Cody says, "Hell yeah." So you know what he's talking about when he refers to the barbecue, right?
Am I supposed to? No, I don't. I really don't.
Really?
No, I don't.
It's like
some kind of Fast and Furious reference.
No, it's a kind of been like a thing with African American culture. Like black people cook like a motherfucker at a cookout. And
dude, I live in Canada. You know,
it's true.
People are
okay. So if you're invited to the cookout, that means you're cool and you're in with that community. Fair.
Okay,
is
cool.
Basically what it is. Cool. So that's what it's like. You're invited to the cookout. You one of us. Come have some. And let me tell you something. I've been to some of those cookouts. Barbecue on point. Here's the funny story. I'm not going to rope you in with Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer's buddy. But this is how stupid Brian Alvarez is. You could kind of use context.
Why would you preface that with not roping me in, but basically you're roping me in?
I'm defending you. You used context clues when we were watching, and you kind of caught on about what was going on. Yes, right?
Okay, yes, yeah,
and you did. Brian Alvarez had no clue what this meant, and he thought that it was going to be a little segment that NXT will be doing called the Cookout. Yeah.
No, seriously, he had to be fucking joking, right?
No, I'm so serious.
I'm not even that stupid. I'm not even that stupid. I knew it was referencing something. I didn't know what the fuck it was referencing. I kind of had an idea because my head went to Fast and Furious when they're all having that cookout.
That's fair.
And shit, and but
here it is right here. Brian Alvarez might be the
Brian Alvarez might be, a bigger douche than what Dave Meltzer is. Because at least Dave Meltzer sometimes, gets shit right.
I kind of read it wrong. He said he thought that that in quotes the cookout was an exclusive event for the NXT fans. Oh, it's so good. What did make me laugh though, that when Trick asked him, "Are you coming to the cookout?" and they panned to the crowd, it was a lot of white people saying, "Yeah." It's not your role.
Well, I mean,
it's not your role.
But they probably understand what it was more
they
than
got
I
it.
did.
American,
they're down in Florida, like
American culture. We got it, and you kind of understood. And now that I explained it, you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I assumed it was some kind of get together of some important. I didn't know that it was it's a thing.
In slang term, if you're invited to the cookout by an African American individual, that means you good. You good in the hood. There you go. You're good in the hood. And
you've been invited to cookouts?
Oh, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm from a place in Indianapolis where I've went to a lot of cookouts. I'll just, if anybody from Indianapolis knows, what I'm about to say. I lived off 10th and Rule off of Eastern Avenue, right outside the outskirts of Indianapolis, Indiana. Yes, I've been to some cookouts.
Is that like 8 Mile?
No, not as bad as 8 Mile, but it's not great.
See, I know 8 Mile because Eminem.
One of my early memories as a child was going down Eastern Avenue.
Eminem is about the most I know about black culture.
Or sorry, going down 10th Street, and there was a Marathon gas station on the corner, and I think I watched a guy get shot. So, yeah, cool. Builds character.
Okay.
You learn a little bit about me every episode. You want to dig into my life, you'll be like, "Oh Jesus Christ, are you okay?" No. Sarah Scriber is interviewing Dante Chen backstage, where Chen says he's going to end the feud with Lexis King tonight.
Hey, any other subjects we can touch on tonight that might get us kicked off of YouTube?
That won't get me canceled. You know how much respect I have for the cookouts? Dude, it's some of the best food you'll ever had. You know how excited I got? Right down the road from me, there's a food truck that just started selling food, and it's called Texas.
I got a story for you. Oh, this is good.
It's right, so like you can do it right now.
Might get us kicked off YouTube, but no, go ahead.
There's a food truck that's called Texas Boys Barbecue, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then I saw the person that was cooking it, and I was like, this food's gonna be fucking fire. Because let me tell you something about white people in our cooking. We don't know what seasonings are. Salt is spicy to some white folk.
I do know that. Whenever I cook, I use spice. I like spice. I like to put a little black pepper on my food.
Attaboy. So. Well, that's not what I meant, but carry on with your story. That's going to get us kicked off YouTube.
So I worked up in the oil fields for 10 years, northern Alberta. It's where the tradies make their fucking money in Canada. If you want to make good money, you go to the oil field. I did it for 10 years. Anyways, unless it gets really fucking cold in northern Alberta and really early in the year, it starts snowing like late August, early September, sometimes up in northern Alberta, northern BC, British Columbia. And up in the oil fields, we get a lot of guys down from the States, Texas, all those areas. They come up because Texas is oil country down in your guys' neck of the woods. And a lot of those boys come up and they engineers and whatnot, they come up and because they have the knowledge of the oil fields, they understand oil just as good as anybody, if not better. They've been drilling oil in Texas for longer than we have. Nonetheless, I don't know. Is it politically correct to say black people or do you say African American? I don't fucking know. Anyways, unless a lot of the guys come up, they're black, right? And as soon as it drops below like 10 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 50 Fahrenheit, somewhere around that area, these motherfuckers are head to toe in full winter gear, and we're out there working in t-shirts still, and we're just like, what the fuck? He's like, it's fucking cold. No, this ain't cold, dude.
That is cold to some Texas boys. That is cold to some Texas boys.
What are you gonna do when it hits like minus 50?
50? I'd love to. I'd take 50 degrees right now, son. That feel amazing.
So, anyways, nonetheless, I was just kind of blown away because like it's like 10 degrees outside, and these guys are in full winter parkas, and I'm just like, what is going on right now? How are you not dying?
50 degrees for people in the south of the United States That's cold. That's cold to something. Florida, oh, they hate it. They
It
hate
just
50.
it just blew my fucking mind. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's cold." I'm like, "No, it's
When
not
it's
cold.
like
It's not even."
50, when it's like 50 degrees outside, that's normally like fallish time around here. The leaves are changing. The weather feels amazing. I love me some good old fall
See,
weather.
up in the oil fields, us boys that grew up in this shit, it'd be like -50, -40, be working out, freezing our balls off. Like as soon as it got to like -10, we'd be stripped down to like our t-shirts because this is like, you know, this is great weather. Like it'd
Mhm.
be like early March -10, and we'd be like working out in our t-shirts because it's like we just froze our asses off for 5 months. So
Let's keep on moving with my one of my least favorite things because it gives me PTSD. Singaporean cane match. It sounds too much like the Punjabi prison match. This is just a bunch of uh, canes spread out everywhere, and Lexus King and Dante Chen are going to go at it, and they did beat the shit out of each other in this match with them, and Lexus King does get the win. Um, whew, they were beating the hell out of each other, weren't they?
some of those shots, I'm like, wow, this is personal. They did a good job. They made it look violent, which is kind of about the best you're gonna get out of a match like this. I It almost seemed like, every like, oh, he's hitting him with the cane. He's hitting him with the Singapore cane. It's a kendo stick. Like, why are we
Yeah.
trying to reinvent the wheel here?
That's why I kept
But
saying Kane just to stick to the gimmick, but it's a fucking kendo stick.
um, and I mean, you go back to like the Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock days. Those they were all Steve Blackman, especially the kendo stick was his thing.
The
So,
lethal
um,
weapon.
but okay. So here's the thing: they're pushing Chen like a motherfucker right now. He's been on TV a lot. Um, I don't care. I'm not seeing anything from Chen that really is making him stand out.
Mhm.
If you want to ask me, I don't know why they got to figure something out with him. If they're trying to push him, they better figure something out with him. Give him some kind of a gimmick because right now he's just he's an enhancement talent. There's nothing there. There's no meat on the bone to make me care about the guy. So give me something with him. Give him something to work with more than just you know wanting to beat the shit out of Lexus Kane.
Yep, I agree.
If anything, this feels like it's more than anything. It's more just they're trying to push Lexus King with his gimmick,
Mhm.
and they're using Donche. He's an enhancement. He's just trying to put over Lexus right now.
Yep. Let's talk about some backstage things before we get to the next match. JCJ and Jasmine Nix are backstage talking, and Cody Rhodes shows up, and he gives JC a gift, and it is the undashing Cody Rhodes mask that he wore after his nose was broke. I popped for that. That was pretty cool.
I popped too, and I wonder if they told JC and Jasmine beforehand what was happening, other than you got a segment with Cody, because when he pulled up the mask and gave
Yeah.
them, they both were like,
Oh
"What?"
shit, this is cool. Like, oh, what? Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. She does appear later in the night wearing the undashing mask over her other mask, which I thought was
You're like,
fucking.
is she wearing both masks?
I was like, what are we doing here?
Yes.
We get Mia Yim revealing to Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows that Ava has granted her a shot at the NXT North American Women's Championship next week after she beat down Jada Parker. So that will be something to look forward to. And we get a Brooks Jensen appearance as he reached across and tried to grab Vic Joseph before Booker T demanded that someone get him, and security cleared the way. They've been doing this with
Are you
Brooks.
sure it's Brooks? I'm still not sure
Yes,
it's Brooks.
Jesus Christ, it was Brooks. They've been doing this with Brooks, where he just he showed up. Was it NXT or was it Battleground?
He got
Uh,
kicked out. He got kicked
the,
out of NXT. He showed
yeah,
up they wouldn't let him in or something.
or he showed up. They didn't mention it, but it was mentioned like on the dirt sheets or whatever after that. It was Brooks Jensen, but he wasn't shown on the one episode. But you got half of his face this time. But anyway, Eddie Thorpe has his return, and he beats Tavion Heights with an Impaler DDT. I'll be honest, man. This didn't do anything for me. This match didn't do much for me.
I mean, obviously, Eddie, you mentioned that he used to be pretty good when he was around before, but I don't know anything about him.
He's just a
Um,
hard hitting bruiser, but I think this was more so just a Here's your match back.
You got to start somewhere. You got to start
Knock off the
somewhere.
ring rust, get back into the flow of things, and maybe this was
And
the
you know,
start of it.
Tavian Heights is not exactly like just a nobody either. So it's a good
No,
match to get Eddie
it
back into
wasn't a
it. So
terrible match by any means, but it wasn't anything that made me go, okay, that's a great match. No Quarter Catch Crew watched the match. Dempsey says that Tavian Heights is impressive, and he tells Miles Bourne 3 times because Miles Bourne's deaf, partially deaf, to go get him. Kemp saying they don't need new members.
he is legally deaf.
Yep. Kemp saying that we don't need new members, but Dempsey responded by saying, "Never question my authority again." They're trying to make Dempsey. He's kind of going down the taking notes from the family with the Don, and he's kind of doing this character thing. And it seems like the members of his group aren't. But well, I guess Miles Bourne kind of is, but Damon Kemp's not all in for it. So we'll see what transpires next week on NXT with this. But I'm not.
I like that they're trying to do something with Charlie. See where it goes. I mean,
we'll see. Yeah,
they're
yeah,
trying.
I agree.
They're
I agree.
trying.
We'll see where it
Obviously, you know, there's a little bit of nepotism involved. He is William Regal's kid.
Yeah.
There's obviously he's going to get as many chances as he possibly can before they realize that it's not going to work. But they're not giving up. I mean, see where it goes. They needed something had to change because what he was doing before was not good.
Up next, we get a snitch. She's a snitch. Stevie
I like
Turner.
Stevie Turner, man. I like her.
I do. If this is her character, cool. This is her brown nosing basically to management, where she comes to Ava and Robert Stone and snitches, and says that, hey, Roxanne was talking to the girls in the back, and she's going to call you out and ask for an apology. And Ava responded by saying, well, I guess it's a good thing that Perez isn't getting paid for thinking. So this is, I think this is just showing Stevie Turner. I almost said Stevie Nicks. Stevie Turner.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, shout out Fleetwood Mac. Stevie Turner snitching, trying to brown nose.
Tell me sweet little lies. tell me lies. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
CM Punk. Nathan Frazier and Axiom are hanging out with the New Catch Republic. The D'Angelo family interrupts them. And Frazier can't take his eyes off of the Heritage Cup before D'Angelo says, we'll teach you a lesson. And Axiom's like, hey, we got these titles. And Frazier says, I can pull double duty. So it seems like Nathan Frazier is going to get a shot at the NXT Heritage Cup. He was a former winner of it. He wants it back. And as well, I guess Axiom wasn't, or was he? I don't know. There's this A kid that nobody fucking names. I don't know who he is. But he's on the cup. He was the first winner of it. I don't know what happened to A kid, but good for him. I hope he's doing well.
I think he went to help El Generico in the orphanage.
Oh, that makes sense. We see this was probably one of the cooler segments of NXT. Backstage, Cody Rhodes is walking and he runs into his old buddy, Shawn Spears, where he says, you know, you got your moment at the Royal Rumble and you got that title. And now I'm going to win the Battle Royal and get mine. And then Ethan Page comes in and is like, no. I'm going to get it. And then Lexus King, he shows up and he's like, no, I'm going to win the Battle Royal. And then everyone goes, huh. Those are all former AEW guys. And Cody leaves the segment by saying, you know, it seems like everyone here is in a good place. And it was a shot, but it was a subtle shot. And I think AEW fans probably lost their fucking minds on Twitter. I didn't really look for it because I didn't want to get irritated. But I thought this was really cool. This is all the former AEW people just looking at each other saying, huh, we're in a good place.
So the best part about that, and it was a good little subtle shot, and I liked it. It wasn't like AEW comes out and just takes blatant shots. It's like straight up. It's a shot. Everybody can read between the lines, but it's not like blatantly, it's, you know what I mean? So nonetheless, the biggest, if you go back and watch it again, the biggest thing is the smile that comes across his Lex's face. It's like you can't keep a straight face.
If you look, Ethan Page is also grinning like a motherfucker too.
I saw Lexus's face. He just the grin on his face was just like he can't keep a straight face.
I showed you if you want to go look for it. They did the Spider-Man meme where they're all were pointing at each other backstage. That was pretty cool. I did skip over this for some reason. How, I don't know. I think I was trying to say it because this is
You skipped over 2 matches now. So
yeah, I know I'm losing it. And this was the technical main event of the night, and the main event match. Sean Spears taking on Javon Evans. They had their altercation take place when Sean Spears was supposed to have a match with Josh Briggs, and he attacked him, and then him and Javon went at it. Sean Spears gets the win over Javon Evans with the C4 and the pinfall. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying like, "Oh, we're just giving Sean Spears a win and burying a talent." And I think that's the most bullshit thing ever. If you watch the match back, the reason that Sean Spears picked up the win is because he outsmarted Javon Evans. So the veteran in the game in Sean Spears outsmarted the 20-year-old phenom.
He played possum and then moved at the last second, and Javon took the announce table in the middle. Like, it looked like it really fucking hurt.
So
He outsmarted him.
The veteran outsmarted the 20-year-old phenom who's still got a lot to learn. It makes all the sense in the world if you have half a fucking brain, but a majority of the internet wrestling community doesn't have a brain because they're so
Here's the thing.
stupid.
So 2 sides of the story. Carmelo Hayes needs a win soon because he can't keep losing. But you pointed out he's losing to fucking established top end fucking guys.
Yes.
And yes, it works so long until the point you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Give him a win. But at the flip side, you need that to happen because Javon Evans looked good, really fucking good in this. This match was probably one of my favorite matches of the night. And he looked really good in it and took the loss because Sean Spears goaded him to making a big move, took too long, and it went sideways. He got hurt, and Sean Spears picked up the win.
Yep.
It was a good match, and it doesn't bury Evans in any ways. It made him look strong because the match was phenomenal, and he could go with a veteran and look good.
Let's finish here. This is the close of the show. Roxanne Perez comes to the ring, calls out Ava, and asks for an apology. She obviously puts herself over before calling out Ava, saying she did it. And a bit of the crowd was like, "Yeah, you deserve this. Holy, you did it." As we both said it when we talked about Battleground, match of her career so far. She gloats a bit, calls out Ava, and asks for the apology. Ava appears. She does tell her, congratulations, good job. And this is kind of my job. I'm putting you against top end talent, and you won. So good job. Before they can continue talking more, JC Jane and Jasmine Nix appear, who said that they're the reason people tune into the show. And as I said, JC's wearing her original mask with the undashing mask that Cody gave her over the top of it. And you're like, oh, and we were waiting on who was going to come out. And a part of me was like, oh shit, it's going to be Julia. But we know Julia's still nursing her injury she had on her arm or hand. Was it her hand? I think she fractured her hand.
She fractured her wrist or something.
Wrist,
I think.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe they're gonna do it because it's been rumored that Julia's debut match will be Heatwave, and they were speculating that would be against Roxanne for the NXT Women's title. But that's still kind of up in the air. So we have JCJ and Jasmine Nix, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson show up, interrupt, and say, no, we're holding it down. Lola Vice, who said that it was a matter of time until the NXT Women's title was hers. All of this ends in a brawl where Jane and Nix were laid out before Lola Vice and Perez toss Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend out of the ring. And Lola Vice and Roxanne Perez standing tall to end the broadcast. Seems we'll probably get some tag team action and stuff building up. Maybe not. I don't know.
No.
Is
I think
Lola...
this is building to Lola versus Roxanne.
I don't want Lola to win. Oh God, I do not want Lola to beat Roxanne at all.
I don't like this choice one bit.
I don't like that choice at all. Like it. They'll probably do a number one contenders match between all the people that were involved, but that wouldn't make sense because they're teammates. I don't know.
Yeah,
but there's been this split.
This is gonna be Lola. I think they're building Lola versus Roxanne in case Julia's not ready for Heatwave.
Yeah, if Julia's ready,
if Julia's ready, then they do a swerve. Julia comes in, knocks out Lola somehow or something.
Lola. And yeah, I can't wait for Julia in NXT. I'm so fucking ready for it. It's gonna be fantastic. We've mentioned her before. If you haven't watched her stuff, go look her up. She's the real deal. And she shouldn't honestly be in NXT very long. But if they want to treat her, people have said they should put her in NXT and treat it how they treated when Asuka showed up, and let Julia just fucking dominate, because that's what they did with Asuka until Asuka I think got hurt and then relinquished the title, and then the time she relinquished the title,
reappeared.
It's time for you to go to the main roster. Mm-hmm. And so I can see that happening with Julia. Overall, really good NXT show. NXT, we talked about the ratings in the news. NXT is on fire, and we've talked about it before. It's not a shot at AEW when I say this, but NXT is on fire. The fact that NXT is putting better ratings or therefore close enough ratings with AEW should be a shame to AEW, because a lot of the talent that's on NXT are young talent that aren't experienced yet, and they're building themselves up. AEW's got killers, legit top tier wrestlers, but for some reason they can't do the ratings, but NXT's keeping up with them. That should be a shame to AEW. I'm just saying.
They need to figure something out over in AEW, because back to the heyday of AEW, 21, 22. I mean, it's weird saying the heyday. I mean, they've only been around for 5 years, but 21, 22, 20 even. They were on fire. They were killing it left and right.
Before COVID, they were on fire.
They're killing it. And something's just, I don't know if there's just that much more of a spotlight on it now, or if they're just trying to compete too hard with, it almost feels like, when I first got back into watching wrestling again a few years back, I had no clue about AEW. It felt like they didn't even care that WWE existed at the time. They were just doing their thing. And now all of a sudden, they're taking shots at WWE, poking the bear, all this stuff. And it just feels like it's taken away from their own show. If
I was locked
they should
in.
They should just focus on what they were doing first. And that's putting on banner matches and having fun shit happening.
If you remember, I'm sure you do, when AEW debuted, they were on the same night as NXT.
Yeah.
It was
that's why NXT moved nights.
It was quote unquote the Wednesday Night Wars. And believe me, AEW fans celebrate that to this day. We made NXT move. Well, now NXT's kind of about to probably start kicking your ass, but whatever. And as Chris Jericho said, it's a marathon, not a sprint, whatever. But I remember I have a picture on my phone. I had just gotten back from a vacation in Florida, and I was sitting down on my bed, and I had my laptop pulled up. I had NXT rolling, and then on my TV I had AEW, and I was watching both of them. It was the Wednesday Night Wars, and that was the AEW when they first started. It was hot. It was top tier. It was really good, and then
honeymoon period.
It was extended. It was pretty extended.
It was new, and then also you got, holy shit, they got real people. They got real players. They got Cody Rhodes. They got the Young Bucks. They got Jon Moxley. They got real players. They got Chris fucking Jericho. They got players.
Yeah, it was a good watch. And then recently, man, I don't know what's.
It's not that the last few weeks have been pretty bad, but
we're
it's
gonna
not
talk
like
about
the product's been the product hasn't been overall that bad this year. It's just the numbers aren't there for some reason, and I don't know if what's causing it. I don't know. All the wrestlers, and you ask anybody in the wrestling industry outside of the dirt sheet reporters who obviously lean one way or the other, you ask the wrestlers and they're like, this is good. The Undertaker, this is what it was. Just recently on his podcast, he said that it's good for business to have AEW be successful. That's what wrestling fans, it's good for the fans, it's good for the companies, it's good for the sponsors, it's good for everybody if AEW succeeds. Even the Undertaker's saying this. Everybody in the wrestling industry that doesn't lean one way or the other understands how good this is for the industry. And then you get all these fucking marks, AEWs, you get the marks, the smarks, whatever the fuck you want to call them, the dirt sheet writers. They lean one way or the other, and they just spew shit about the other company.
Did you hear what else?
I have been burying AEW on this show tonight myself, but that's because they've been shit as of the last 3 weeks. But that doesn't mean I don't like AEW. I watch AEW because it's wrestling and I love wrestling. But I'm going to talk shit about them. I'm going to talk shit about the WWE when they do stupid shit.
What else Taker said on his podcast about AEW, where he said, I feel like there's not a legit locker room leader.
Yes.
And it's true. I can't think of someone in my head who would be the locker room leader. They kind of trotted Edge out there after the CM Punk stuff recently, and Edge could be a good locker room leader for that place, but I feel like it has to be somebody else. Somebody has to take the reins. Samoa Joe would be the guy.
He said they need a locker room, and he also said on Tony Khan, he's like, Tony Khan seems like a nice guy, all this shit, but he's not the guy that should be running it. He doesn't seem like a guy that can handle the pressure of running a wrestling company.
Yep, 100%. Well, let's talk about that wrestling company, shall we? It's AEW Dynamite, and there is a lot at the bottom of your screen, and we're gonna get into it, but it's gonna be. I'm gonna breeze through some of it because, well, not breeze through, but we're gonna
Just
talk
talk
about
for
it.
a bit.
But this was not a good AEW Dynamite. Aside from a couple high spots, obviously, as you can see, we had 2 title matches. Will Ospreay defending against Ray Phoenix, which we'll get to that match, was fantastic. Mercedes Moné defending against Stephanie McCourt's tag team partner. That match happened. We got the debut of the tag team of Samoa Joe and Hook, as well as a TNT title eliminator match between Jack Perry and Dustin Rhodes. Danny Garcia had a match against the guy that said was looking for like his 25th AEW Dynamite, I don't know, victory. And a tag match that I feel like I didn't have a whole lot of interest in, with Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly taking on against Roderick Strong, Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. And then we got the Roosh match. You mess with double, you get the
Hearns.
Hearns. We kick off AEW Dynamite though with Swerve
Why the fuck?
Strickland.
Why the fuck commentary isn't running with that is
Oh, I
beyond
would.
me.
Swerve Strickland kicks off the show and says basically that Will Ospreay wasn't enough of an assassin in his match against Roderick Strong, and warns him that he better bring that assassin to Forbidden Door because there's a reason that he's called Killshot. He does credit Will for being a fighting champion, unlike the EVPs who come out to interrupt him. Matthew Nicholas Jackson, along with Jack Perry and Kazuchika Okada. Okada calls the crowd bitches again. That seems to be the only English word he knows is bitch or bitches.
Honestly, I
It's
don't know
funny.
if that's the only English word he knows, if that's the case, but I just think they're running with it right now because it got
It's
such a
funny.
good pop the first time.
It's
It's
funny.
hilarious. I love it.
They announced basically that Blood and Guts is coming back. That'll be, and it was announced surprisingly after Dynamite, but Blood and Guts will be returning. It's a Wednesday Dynamite deal. But that'll be coming back for an unannounced date. I don't know when they announced for that. I'll have to look that up. But they asked basically Swerve to join the Elite. And I said when we were watching, it was like, there's a part of me that was like, huh. Should Swerve join the Elite?
There's no way Swerve joins them. He's said on multiple occasions, one, if you have a battle involving AEW, why don't
Yeah.
you ask me? And two, he just before this segment came out, he buried the Young Bucks. So anyways, unless
they threatened to beat him down because he declined the offer. The Acclaimed, when Billy Gunn come out to make the save, Christopher Daniels comes out, breaks things up because Jack Perry, you got a match right now, taking on Dustin Rhodes. Before we get to that match, what were you going to say?
I don't know. Honestly, what was I going to say? It involved Dynamite did something right off the hop. They haven't done it since Swerve's won the title, and they had their title holder, the AEW World title, open the show.
Yes, they did. So good
And
on
they had him cut
them.
one hell of a promo. This
Yes, it
was
was.
probably the second best part of this entire show.
I like that promo where he said, you didn't have that assassin against Roderick Strong. You didn't have that. The last time you had that assassin was against Bryan Danielson, but you've lost that assassin. He did.
Oh, that Roderick Strong was fucking Roderick. That match was my favorite. That's probably my favorite Will Ospreay match in the last 6 months. Outside the last one being against Okada.
Yeah, he
at Battle of Valley.
I just like the line where he's like, you better bring that assassin to Forbidden Door, because if you don't, you're in trouble. Basically, the opening match was the AW TNT title qualifying match. Jack Perry taking on Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, man, he can still go, but he's got moments where I'm like, he's slowing down. He gets cut, he blades, he bleeds, but of course Jack Perry's going to get the win over Dustin Rhodes here, and he does just that. What do you think of the match?
So the one takeaway from this entire match, and it pissed the living fuck out of me. Aubrey. Jack Perry pulls off the turnbuckle. She sees it. She grabs the turnbuckle. Instead of putting the fucking turnbuckle back on, she throws the turnbuckle away. It's 3 fucking buttons, Aubrey. Put the fucking turnbuckle cover back on.
Maybe she doesn't know how to. Backstage,
it's 3 fucking buttons.
Backstage, we
It's
get
clip. It's not even rope. It's not even tied on. It's not. It's 3 buttons.
backstage.
A
Mark
good
Briscoe.
match. It was a really good
It
match.
was a
I
good match.
actually enjoyed this match quite a bit.
And this is not a shot, but for how old Dustin Rhodes is and how long he's been doing it and what he's put his body through, the fact that he can still actually go out and have a good match like this, kudos to the natural. Backstage, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy are cutting a promo with Renee Young. Willow shows up and literally adds nothing to this because it's all about Mark Briscoe cutting the most bang up, fire up promo in only the way that one of Dim Boys, Mark Briscoe, can do. The funniest part was he leaves. He's like, "Ooh, let's go get him." And Renee's talking to Orange Cassidy. He's like, Orange's like, "How you doing?" She's like, "Pretty good. How about you?" And he goes, "Not so good.
Not very good. Yeah.
I'm kind of sad about life, actually." It's like, "Oh, all right," and that's it. It's Orange Cassidy. It's
No, you got to kind of like sideways because his whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, how is it actually? It's in the picture there. It's just kind of like
yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
Love
nonetheless, how that promo from like, Kyle. Watch Kyle the whole time. He's like just trying not to fucking break down in complete
that
laughter. He's just
Briscoe was on a roll. I couldn't even redo that if I wanted to. It was good stuff. We get Roosh, taking on Dion Roosman, who apparently was going for attempting to win his 25th match or some
AEW
shit.
match.
Yeah, whatever.
I've never seen him before in my life.
He was going to go for his 25th win or with his 25th?
His 25th win. His
Oh,
25th win.
okay, good for him. Roosh beats the hell out of this
He
guy.
must have wrestled a lot on Dark when
Maybe.
Dark existed.
Roosh beats him down, beats the shit out of him. He messed with the bull, man. He got the horns.
You got the Hearns.
But after the match, Roosh beats the shit out of this guy. But I didn't think this was going to happen. But MJF is there, and he comes out and saves this poor individual. But hey, MJF, he's taped up. He's ready to go. They brawl. They get into the crowd. And then they'll fight next week in the opening match with no commercial breaks on AEW Dynamite. What are we doing with MJF, man? Why is he going up against Roosh? Is this just all right, you're back. Let's get you in something.
Why did Will Ospreay win the International Championship? And why did Okada win the Continental Championship? And why is MJF going up against Roosh?
And why is Will
Hearns?
Ospreay already going for the world title while he's still got another title? There's so many questions with AEW.
And if I also look at this picture of all these people that were in the matches, I can go jobber, 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 jobber. A lot of jobbers on this match card. All right, let me go through that quickly. Who was Roosh fighting? Roosman? Yeah, Roosman, jobber. Roosh,
Kind of a
your
jobber.
brother's better.
Somebody in the crowd yelled that.
You got Tony Ness, you got Ari Daivari, you got Mike Komoroto. Like who the
Yeah.
you got all this fucking talent on your roster, and these are the guys you put in matches.
Yeah. So let's get to the next match, which is the Roderick Strong, Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita taking on Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Kyle O'Reilly. The heels are going to get the win over the faces here in this one. And then after the match, they continue to. Is there anything you want to add to the match before I do what happened after?
Yeah. Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, they're part of Don Callis' family, right?
Correct.
There's other members in Don Callis' family, right?
Yeah.
Why is Roderick Strong in this match with them?
What do you mean? Roddy's got beef with Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly, doesn't he?
No, does he? I just don't understand these match makeups. Like, why the fuck are we just throwing these weird ass? You got stables of full guys, and then you throw other stables members in it, and then you got just
Who's
the
the other
match
guy?
was fine. The match was good. This was probably the best match on the card. And before you get mad at me for not saying Will Ospreay Ray Phoenix is, I'll explain why that's not my favorite match on the card later. But This 6-man tag team probably favorite match on the card, but it makes no sense to me because there's you got stables and then you don't even use their stables. You mix stables together and then you got weird ass fucking shit happening and Kyle O'Reilly and all like why is
Well, the heels continued to beat up the faces. Willow Nightingale's music hits. She's going to come make the save, but she can't. She is tossed from the entranceway by Chris Statlander and gets beaten down on stage. And, Stokely cutting his promo. And there's actually selfies he took on stage that he posted on Twitter. It was pretty funny afterwards. So we're still building Chris and Willow. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
still
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
I hope that this whole thing culminates to Willow taking the win in the end because
Yes.
if they give her the loss after all this shit, why? Why are you burying Willow?
I
Why?
think they
Why?
should do like like a couple matches. I think Willow should get the first one, Chris should get her back, and then they'll culminate it with like the rubber match, and Willow should come out on top.
I,
Willow should win the
I
feud. How about that?
Willow is creeping up into my top female wrestlers. Period. Like
Yeah,
top. Like
fair.
I really like everything Willow does. She's a lot of fun. She's so good. I want to see more of Willow. She's a star. She is a star. And if they find a way to continue to bury her, I'm gonna be right pissed off.
She'd do good in WWE. Her personality would be great.
A lot of AEW stars would do really good in WWE.
Renee Paquette talks about she had a conversation with Ray Phoenix, who Ray basically said he's one of one. This is one of the coolest parts of the show. Shingo Takagi. We love some Shingo Takagi, New Japan Pro Wrestling star. I think he's currently the never open weight New Japan champion. And he announces that he will be taking part in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, where the winner of that gets to the main event of Wembley Stadium versus the AEW World Champion. I'm cool with this. Let's go.
Takagi's been around for a long
Yes.
time, as we found out. But Takagi really stood out on my radar the instant that him and John Moxley had that banger of a match at Battle of the Valley.
Yes. And then
Been a
we
huge fan of
watched.
Takagi. Been a huge fan of Takagi ever since.
And then after that match, I think we ended up watching him and Will Ospreay, who put on a fucking absolute banger at the G1 Climax. That Shingo's fantastic. Christopher Daniels announces that Matthew Nicholas Jackson will be in an eliminator match next week, as will Okada, and all of them are banned from appearing in both of those matches. Their opponents were not announced. I think afterwards we know that Matthew Nicholas will be taking on the Acclaimed. And I'm sure, because you know how AEW rolls, it's probably been announced who Okada will be taking on. Actually, it's not, surprisingly. It has not been announced. All we got announced is that the Young Bucks will be taking on the Acclaimed next week on AEW Dynamite. We get the debut of the tag team of Samoa Joe and Hook taking on the Premier Athletes, Tony Nese and R.A. Daivari. This was obviously you said it. They're jobbers. Samoa Joe and Hook. I actually am more behind it than Hook by himself. Fair to say. And they got Shibata with the camera backstage and still doing the voice notes and reading those out loud.
Probably the best thing about this. I really this match is whatever. I mean, even Hook trying to do Samoa's little step aside when a guy goes to do the top rope move. I was like, get the fuck off.
He didn't even do it right. He stepped
No, he
back.
didn't
He
even do
didn't
it.
do it right.
And Joe kind of just looks like,
all right, you tried. I love
but
Samoa Joe. I love Samoa Joe, man. But
I hope they find something better for Samoa Joe soon because I
Vice,
wasn't like I've said this before and I'll say it again. Before he held the world title, I'm like, there's no chance he carries the company with
yeah.
the title, and now I'm a huge Samoa Joe fan.
I hope he's in the TNT Eliminator matches to be in that ladder match. I really hope he is.
I think really what this comes down to is I just hate Hook.
Yeah, that's fair. We
And
get a Steph.
the fact that the way they're trying to put these their stars over is against jobbers. And yeah, you guys can anybody who says, oh, Tony Ness and Ari Daivari aren't what have they fucking done? They've been around forever, and what have they fucking done?
Yeah, that's fair. We get a Stephanie Vacour vignette before the TBS Championship match. Mercedes Moné defeats Zeuxis.
Zeuxis.
This match was okay, but I got to learn a lot about Zeuxis. She's really good. She's really good in the ring.
This was a good match.
We
This
know
was a good
Mercedes
match.
is good. We know Mercedes is good. But I didn't like the fact that it's just randomly like, oh, it's Stephanie Vacour's tag team partners. We'll just throw on AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, see, so my problem with this show, and it's not that the matches were bad. I mean, this match between Zeuxis and Mercedes was good. The 6-man tag team match was good. Roosh match could care less. Jack Perry versus Dustin was a good match. The matches were fine.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, Daniel Garcia versus
Oh yeah, that's coming up.
Komoroto wasn't good either. But the for the majority, the matches that had the big stars in it, they delivered. It's just the randomness of the teamings and the booking is just so fucking weird. It annoys the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. We get a wonderful vignette of Mina Shikara. A little hype video for her. And Mariah May is a part of it, hyping up her as well. And we get to a cut backstage with Tony Storm and Mariah, where Tony's like, "Oh, this woman," and Mariah's like, "No. She's gonna be here next week, and she wants to do a contract signing, and I'm gonna host it, so nothing will go wrong."
I feel like this could be the start of the rift between Mariah and Tony.
It's it's showing already. The fact that Mariah requested to be on the poster behind Tony and Mina for Forbidden Door, she may turn on Tony at Forbidden Door.
That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. This is where Mariah goes like, "No, I want the title."
And Tony's gonna win Forbidden Door and beat Mina, but it's gonna set up Tony versus Mariah probably at Wembley, and
I
I'm
think
here for
that'd
that.
be your best.
I'm
Yeah.
here for that. And honestly,
Unless they somehow decided, put 3 belts on Mercedes because she's going to have the New Japan
oh
Strong
no, that
title here shortly.
never mind. I'm not gonna say it because I can't even believe it if I say it. I can't even believe it if I say it. I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
Well, Wembley's when Becky Lynch is gonna appear.
Yeah, and Charlotte Flair and Bailey are going to be in the crowd.
Yeah, that's not happening. One of my favorite segments of the night, of course, it's TV time with the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho. It's just all around fun. Hi guys. Hi. Yeah, I love every second of Learning Tree. They're gonna have a moment with Private Party. And we learned it when they were running around following Jericho backstage, where Jericho was just giving tips to everybody. But we get one here when Private Party comes out in their entrance, their music, the crowd chants shots. And Chris Jericho says, "Remember, guys, if you're going to do those shots, make sure you have a designated driver," which is true. Don't drink and drive. People.
It's good advice, and it will definitely keep you from dying.
Yeah. So another tip that Jericho tries to give Private Party is how to climb the ropes properly. He tells them, "You guys are so athletic, but you don't climb the ropes properly. I learned to climb the ropes in the dungeon." And hey, we all know about the dungeon.
He's not wrong.
We
The
know about the
dungeon
dungeon.
is legendary for training wrestlers.
And
Legendary. Stu
so he
Hart,
does.
legend.
He shows them how to properly climb the ropes until he gets knocked down. They attack Jericho, but the Private Party does climb the ropes correctly after Chris Jericho showed him. It hits him with the swanton, and then Quay from Private Party hits a shooting star press. So I assume we're gonna have something on AEW Dynamite next week, probably a tag team match of some sort.
I would imagine it's going to be Brian Keith and Big Bill versus the Private Party.
Put Chris Jericho on commentary. Oh, please, AEW. I don't ask for much. Actually, I do ask for a lot from you guys, but this right here should be the one.
You know, Jericho's not going to be in the match, but it'll be Big Bill and Brian Keith.
Right. So I think we both knew that what was going to happen. So we haven't finished watching Dominion yet. But John Moxley, of course, retained. I do want to watch the match because it wasn't that the Lumberjack death match or whatever. correct? So yeah, we still got to obviously watch it. But Moxley retained at Dominion the New Japan World Heavyweight Championship. We get a vignette because it's going to be Naito versus John Moxley at Forbidden Door and RK. Go ahead, Gloat.
Called it.
He has called it. You did call it. And we think we both agree that this is when the title finally comes off of Moxley and Naito takes it back to New Japan.
It better come off Moxley. It has to come off Moxley. Moxley needs to deal with AEW shit.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be that kind of guy. Please stay close to your mic, sir. Can't hear you when you're leaning back.
Go fuck yourself.
The Bang Bang Gang, they challenged the House of Black to a trios match on this Saturday's Collision. And I think that it's a anniversary of some sort for Collision. The 1 year anniversary.
One year anniversary of when CM Punk started Collision.
It's true though. They did start Collision for CM Punk. You mentioned it. Daniel Garcia defeating Nick Comoroto.
See, that's how bad I am because I thought it was Mike Comoroto, and I even
it says Nick. I don't.
It's Nick, but again, who?
I don't like Danny Garcia. I don't like it. I don't like him. MJF and Ospreay are shown watching him do his thing. I must have missed this. Did I not notice this?
The fuck?
That's what they have in the notes. Did you see this too, or did we both miss this?
What are my notes? What happened?
It says MJF and Ospreay were shown watching Daniel do his thing. Oh yeah. They're backstage and MJF makes a comment, and because apparently Daniel Garcia is trying to go after Ospreay's title or something, and MJF like walks away. I don't remember what he said. I'm sure it was something smart alecky and smartassery. We'll watch it back after this and see what happens.
I don't remember this at all, dude. It must have been like a split second of something.
Because I don't, I'm confused too. We get a Pac vignette. He says he feels more like a bitch than a bastard, and he enters the Owen Hart tournament. Says he'll be damned if he doesn't win the world title at some point.
This is a good little promo. I like this.
It was. Do you think Pac could be world champion?
No.
Ricochet similarities.
Yeah.
Except Pac can cut a promo.
He can cut a promo, but
yeah, Ricochet can too, but not as good as Pac. But not good enough to be a world
again.
champion.
Can he carry the weight of the belt?
No, I think Pac could. Honestly, I mean that.
Really?
He's good, man. He did it in NXT. I know it's NXT, but he did it in NXT. He held NXT down. Early NXT. I know it was early NXT, but he was the NXT champion for a while. Sammy beat him.
Wasn't that some guy named Neville?
Oh, I'm sorry. Whoops. That's on me. But yeah, anyway, let's get to the main event though.
His twin. It's kind of like Elias and Ezekiel.
The AEW International Championship is on the line. Will Ospreay defending against Rey Fenix. Will Ospreay, of course, is going to retain. And apparently, this isn't your match of the night. And I'm anticipating you telling me why.
I'm sure it was a good match.
You watched it.
I was so fucking over this show by the time this match happened. That
it was a rough show. I can agree with that.
And again, it wasn't because of the match quality. The match qualities were fine. It's just how it's all put together. It seems like there's no set plan of what the fuck's happening. So
this
it's just
match
all
had
over
it all
the place.
together. What are you talking about? This match was legit.
This match was fine. The match itself was good, and you got two bona fide fucking
the setup
phenomenal
was fine.
Wrestlers in there.
The setup for the match was fine too.
The cohesiveness of those from start to finish. It was so all over the place, and the matches, the
I see what you're saying,
and it's just.
I see what you're saying.
I was
talking
just
about this match itself. The build to it was fine because they did a legit number one contenders match, and they had that, and they whatever.
Yeah, that's not the problem though. I was just over the show by this point that I lost interest.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. But no, the match was really good. These two are fantastic workers in the ring. We know that. And apparently they have a better match that I gotta go find at some point. From where you mentioned it to me. Where was it? In like Los Angeles or something? Was that one of those PWG shows?
Yeah, it was a PWG.
Yeah, and I've heard so many things about PWG shows that we watched one in grainy version. It was that Ricochet, Ospreay, Evan Bourne versus the Elite. which was a good match. It wasn't a 5-star match that it was given, but it was a good match. I think it was only a 5-star because Dave Meltzer was in the crowd and they like pointed at him and said, "Hi, Dave," and he nerded out. It was like, "Oh my god, they know me." Yeah.
Okay, so here, honest. This was a good match. Is it one of Will Ospreay's better matches in AEW right now?
No.
No.
And this is gonna be like weird to say. It seems like Will Ospreay is settling in to the TV match schedule now. Like he's not gonna put on a banger every week now. It's gonna be a good match, but he's
Why
saving
though? He
those.
has lots of time to rest in between shows.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, Will Ospreay picks up the win. And then the way he picks up the win is he uses the swerve stomp, and he stared down Swerve before he did it. Stares
That
him down.
was
Yeah,
that was good.
yeah,
That was
that's good
nice.
storytelling. That's good storytelling.
It is.
He stares down Swerve after the match, where Swerve comes in and they're talking smack because the contract was presented and whatever. And Swerve goes to walk away, and Will snatches the world title from him and puts it on his shoulder and is like, "Huh, feels right. Okay, I can carry this."
Well, the whole point of that was because Swerve was like, "You can't hold the weight
Yeah,
of this."
you can't hold the weight of it, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I think I can." And Swerve gets right up in his ear and he says, "You're lucky we're friends, because if it was anyone else, I'd have put you in a grave." Takes his title back and walks away. I am excited for this match. I think they're gonna put on a good match. And let me tell you why I'm excited for Swerve versus Will, because we're gonna see that side of Swerve, that athletic side, really come out against someone like Will Ospreay. Because we know Swerve's got it in him. That's a 205 live guy.
After the first 12 minutes, maybe.
I fucking hate you. Um, Whatever. Um, I don't think it'll be like that with Swerve though. Like I'm being honest, I'm being genuine here,
No, this match is gonna be
because you don't
the anticipation of it and everything. This match is gonna be
Swerve,
so fucking good.
because Swerve doesn't do the Bryan Danielson holds and all that stuff.
No,
So I think it might be hot right out the gate. I hope if it does the slow stuff for a couple minutes of we're gonna do the tie ups, like it'll probably be like the usual, like Will
I'm
Ospreay
fine with
matches,
that. Just not
the
12 minutes of
tie
it.
up, and then a couple seconds
Couple
later,
minutes
someone's getting thrown off the ropes and it's off to the fucking
holds,
horses. Yep.
full force, then holds, breaks to regain your moment, breath and whatnot, and then go back to it. Not 12 minutes of fucking
Yeah,
boring ass holds and then a good match.
that's fair. I'm with you. I'm with you. So Dynamite, not that great. Not that great. It ruined a pretty damn good week of wrestling.
Yeah, it's just, and again, it's nothing. A lot of the matches were good matches. It's just
Yes.
the cohesiveness of the show. It's like the show seemed like what probably happened inside of Tony Khan's brain all the time. Just
Mm,
just
that's
like,
fair.
no, bring it all together, glue it together, and get something that makes sense throughout the whole show to keep your. I was fatigued. I was fatigued by the end of a 2-hour show like that.
Yeah.
No.
And we skipped commercials. So there's that. That's a recap of all of the shows that took place here on Top Rope Renegades. But before we go, we got a couple things to address. One is we got to choose who our wrestler of the week is. I think we're gonna probably be unanimous on this one, RK. But I'll let you go first. Who'd you have to be your wrestler of the week?
Man, it's such a toss up because originally it was Johnny Gargano on SmackDown.
Right.
And then,
And can I say real quick, I like how you did this. I think this list minus NXT, I kind of agree with it. Once I explained and Sean getting the win, it made sense to me. But I like how when we go to this screen, it's like, here's your choice. Who was the wrestler of the week out of this group, basically? But yeah, who was yours?
so like I said, originally right off the hop, watched SmackDown. I'm like, oh, Johnny Gargano for sure, put on a banner match. And then came to Raw, and then actually, NXT background, I'm like, holy shit, Roxanne impressed the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to Raw, and Ilya really blew the door right off of all of that. Ilya looked so fucking good in that match against Braun Breaker. It's Ilya for me this week, 100%.
I want to agree with you, but I think I'm going to give it to Roxanne. And I'm not saying that in the slide of Ilya, but we know Ilya. We know how fucking good he is and how great of a match he can put on. we kind of were skeptical about what Roxanne could do against Jordan Grace, and I think she overachieved my expectations. So I'm gonna give it to Roxanne Perez this week for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that choice.
Yeah.
It was a toss up for me between, I mean, any of the first three. Sean Spears I have up there because I liked how that match with Javon. It was a good match. I really thought Spears stood out in that show. And then Will Ospreay, of course. I mean,
Right.
it was a weak show, and Will Ospreay's your best fucking wrestler. So, but I mean,
Um,
in the end, I mean, Ilya just against Braun Breaker with all that momentum that he was having for the last month to come up against Ilya and then have that momentum kind of stalled a little bit, and
still
Ilya
getting the
was a
win,
legit.
but
But
yeah.
Ilya, at any point, you're like, holy fuck, Ilya might win this match
Mhm.
because he looked that fucking good. So
And then so starting next week, maybe this is just a new little task for you. I'm sure you'll have fun in Photoshop with it. We're gonna start doing our show of the week and wrestler of the week, and getting a little tally thing going.
yeah, so we started show of the week last week as well. We both picked
Did we?
NXT, but yeah,
I think we're. What are we picking this week? Are we picking? Do pay-per-views count towards this?
no,
Okay, so we're just
no,
picking the regular
it's your
shows.
weekly shows, weekly shows.
Um, man, it's hard not to pick NXT again, isn't it? Uh, give me Monday Night
Hey,
Raw. Give me
there's
Monday
nothing
Night
wrong with
Raw.
picking NXT multiple night. Yeah,
I'm
you
taking
like
Monday Night Raw.
see start to finish, entertained. Did not get bored at any second throughout the entire show. SmackDown,
Oh, okay.
start to
SmackDown.
finish, start to finish.
That's
I
fair.
loved
That's
every
fair.
second of that show.
I loved Raw too. SmackDown was great. I liked Raw. I think I liked Raw just because how they intertwined the Judgment Day throughout the entire show. It wasn't just a one
Yeah,
set or two set segment.
they made Judgment Day seem like the biggest, most important thing throughout that entire show,
Yep. Yep.
which
All
it
right.
kind of is right now.
Well, there's our picks for wrestler of the week and show of the week. RK says he's gonna get a cool little graphic ready for us, and I can't wait to see it with some tally marks of who you've been picking and all that good stuff. But before we go, I think RK has a special announcement, so the floor is yours.
Yes. So starting next week, I brought this up to Kurt earlier this week, and he agreed that this would be a fun little idea. We are going to start doing classic match of the week. So once a week, me and Kurt are going to sit down. We're going to watch a classic match, and then we're going to just talk about it 5-10 minutes, maybe maybe longer if it's one of those matches that really need to be broken down. Who knows? But
Mhm.
I got a list going already of some matches for us to watch, and then I got some more that I'm going to have, and maybe if we can, with it being YouTube, I think we're allowed to link directly to other YouTube videos. And I don't know if we're allowed to link to outside of YouTube. If not, we'll figure out some way to let you guys find a place to watch those matches. But for the most part, most of them are on YouTube, so you guys can go after you're done watching the episode. Go watch this match. These are all going to be, as far as I know, they're all going to be bangers.
Mhm.
I'm not going to pick like
Yeah.
a 1-star match, obviously,
Well,
but
what you got?
starting next week,
Here we go. Here we
first
go.
match we're gonna watch Pentagon versus Reclusa in Lucha Underground. Now we all kind of know who Pentagon is. That is Penta L0 Miedo. Uh,
Zero. Zero. Yeah.
so that's right there. But who is Reclusa? Well, that is none other than Chelsea Green.
I'm very
We
intrigued and
got
excited.
we got Penta versus Chelsea Green.
Intergender wrestling. Let's go.
Yeah. So this match, I've heard about this match multiple times in the past, um, as being one of the things that made Chelsea Green really stand out as a wrestler, and probably why she got noticed by the WWE. Um, is that apparently she just goes crazy fucking hard in this match, and yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I haven't seen the match yet. I've heard about it. Um, this happened back in 2018, October 10th in Lucha Underground.
Nice.
Um,
Shout out to Lucha
so yeah,
Underground.
Lucha Underground, man, they had some crazy. We watched that Prince Puma Rey Mysterio match,
Mhm.
and yeah, a lot of people have been wanting for this to come back, Lucha Underground to come back, but they put on.
Yep.
There's quite a few matches from Lucha Underground that I'm going to be bringing up over the next however long we do this.
Mhm.
But yeah, I thought it'd be fun, watch a classic match. Who doesn't? We love wrestling. There's a lot of matches here that we haven't watched yet, and fun little way to maybe get some of you listeners who haven't seen some of these matches a chance to see them, because that's what we're here for. Great wrestling matches.
Well, there you have it. Start next week, we will be watching classic matches here on Top Rope Renegades and reacting to them here on the podcast, as well as the, of course, all your wrestling news, rumors, and innuendo, as well as recaps of everything else. Next week, we will have a nice little recap of the weekly shows, plus Clash at the Castle will be taking place in Scotland. Can't wait to react to that. And RK, any other final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. If this was in the KFC Yum Center, I think we'd be a 5-star podcast.
I love it. I love it. So with that being said, I'm Kurt. And I'm playing us some outro music.
That's really loud.
It did get really loud. It wasn't playing. I tried to fade it up originally, but whatever. Thank you so much for watching Top Rope Renegades. I'm Kurt. That's RK giving you the Orange Cassidy thumbs up. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much.